one, best player in the world right now?
I really love Olise. He's been amazing for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And the way he entered into the national team without any pressure, and the fight that he's doing exactly what he does with Bayern Munich. He plays with freedom and with creativity, and happiness. For me, is very important.
You think he's the best player on the planet?
talkSPORT Sports Update, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction, delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Good afternoon, 1 minute past 4. Here are your sports headlines. Elliot Anderson's been given permission to have his Man City medical in the US. A fee has been agreed, but Man City say it's 116 million. Nottingham Forest claim it's a British record-breaking 130. Here's Alex Crook, our chief football correspondent.
How much would someone like Paul Scholes be worth in the current market? I think he's a terrific player, Elliot Anderson. I'm not sure he's a £130 million player.
So England now have a number of midfielders valued over 100 million, but Simon Jordan thinks a certain type of midfielder is lacking in the current squad.
But I'm not advocating Cole Palmer being on the side, but I think that what Declan did was sideways and back in that game again, and that's not good enough.
Yeah.
When we talk about £100 million footballers, are we talking about just athletes now that can burst up the field?
Speaking of England, Jarell Quansah is on standby to start against Panama, with Reece James struggling for fitness still. Nico O'Reilly's also pushing to reclaim his left-back spot, and Bukayo Saka believes he's ready to make his first start of the tournament. Elsewhere, Newcastle are exploring a move for Borussia Dortmund and Germany midfielder Felix Meka. He started all 3 games at the World Cup so far as an €85 million release clause. Stay up to date on the talksport.com live blog. And at Trent Bridge, Ben Duckett was dropped on 8, but since then he's been blistering. He's on 52. They've just resumed after tea. England on 74 for 1 in their first innings. They bowled New Zealand out for 438, and striker Paul Mullin will leave Wrexham following the mutual termination of his contract. Mullin was central to the club's rise from the National League to the Championship. He scored 110 goals in 172 appearances.
talkSPORT News.
13 men accused of conspiring to drug and abuse a woman have been named, and Kent Police thank a van driver for helping an officer on a job. But should the public get involved in police matters? More with Toby at 4:30.
talkSPORT weather, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Across Scotland, cloudy with outbreaks of rain and thunderstorms continuing, with gusty winds and hail elsewhere. Dry with sunny spells, extreme heat across eastern England, temperatures dropping slightly in the west.
Good afternoon, 4 minutes past 4 o'clock. It is Friday, June the 26th. This is World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Coming up today, we will start again with Scotland, as the small hope of reaching the knockout stages was diminished even further. A huge blow at the World Cup last night for Scots' hopes. So off the back of that, we'll be asking whether Scotland only have themselves to blame, or have they been just a little bit unfortunate? We'll hear from Eberechi Eze ahead of England's final group game against Panama, should Thomas Tuchel start the game with 2 10s. With Elliot Anderson on the verge of becoming the most expensive English player of all time, we'll hear what Emmanuel Petit thinks of the move to Man City. And, of course, we are building up to another big night of World Cup action, which includes Haaland against Mbappe right here on talkSPORT. You're listening to World Cup Game Day Live. You can get involved, 03717 223344. We always absolutely love to hear from you. So, Gabby, a quick update on the rails then. So, okay. You had a bit of a dig at Avanti yesterday. You feeling better about it today?
No, I think Avanti 2, Gabby 0. Yesterday, yes, they didn't have no aircon, fuming about that. Got to Euston Station yesterday. Got myself a nice wasabi, some nice spicy chicken ready to get on the train. Says boarding shortly at 7:39. At 7:40, it says cancelled. And I had a little moment, Jeff, and I felt like, what do I do now? Like, I felt like an 18-year-old. Like, what do I do now? I'm a bit stranded. So many more trains delayed, cancelled to Liverpool, cancelled to Manchester. Finally, I just decided to get an Uber because I had no way of getting home. I would have stayed over, but this morning was my son's 18th birthday, so I had to get back for it. And then today I'll give Vanti another chance today. I think, stop being silly, give him another chance. No aircon on the train to London again today. Everyone dripping with sweat. I actually said to one of the train staff, does this ticket come with aircon by any chance? He said, don't start with me. I was like, oh, okay, I won't start with you. And I get to Euston, taxi queue, 100 taxis in the queue at Euston Station. So I managed to find a line bike. I overtook you in the line bike. I seen you walking by London Bridge. And you know what? A nice 18-minute ride from Euston to London Bridge on a line bike cheered me up. Breath of fresh air.
Do you not get use of the talkSPORT limousine?
That's only for Simon Jordan.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he's not a fan of me, so I can't use it. Yeah.
Hey, look, I was saying Defence of South West Rail, air conditioning working absolutely fine.
Lovely.
One thing I don't get, and I know we've got at least one train expert, it was Luke who told us yesterday, about the fact, we can't run trains at this speed and that speed because of the hot rails. And I get that. Yeah. So we're on the train, and it's taking 1 hour 37 minutes instead of like an hour and 2 minutes. And we get to Woking, for example, and the guard says, we'll be stopping here for 13 minutes. 13 minutes.
The driver gone for a coffee?
No, I could have got off the train, gone for a beer, had a look around Woking, and got back on before it left. And every single station, we stopped for a minimum of 6 or 7 minutes. Now, what's that got to do
exactly
with overheating of rail tracks? I don't get it.
Honestly, Jeff, as well. And like when you're at Euston Station as well, there's nobody to go and speak to or moan to. They disappear. Honestly, you look around, there's no staff, anything. Like the worst railway company in the world, Avanti West Coast. Disgraceful.
We're going to get a reputation as moaners. Oh, yeah, I know, I've already got it.
I like
I've
it.
got it.
I'd have it. Yeah, no problem.
Hey, but what about this? USA against Turkey last night.
Wow.
Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Colin Farrell, Keegan-Michael Key, Kelly Rowland, BIA, Dave Franco, Ben Affleck, Jessica Alba, Paris Hilton. Wow, it was exciting, wasn't it?
No. Who cares? I've seen the clip. Paris Hilton coming out onto the pitch. He was famous 20 years ago, Paris Hilton. No one cares. It's showing Scottie Pippen. No one cares. It's showing Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Will Ferrell. Nobody cares. We want to watch the game. We want to see replays of the goals, of the chances. People aren't as bothered about celebrities as what maybe these companies think. Yeah. Give it a rest.
You know what?
Honestly, Paris Hilton went on the pitch and no one even cheered. Like, go on, wrap it up, Paris. Can we start the game now?
What's brilliantly entertaining, though, brilliantly entertaining, is the poor TV commentators who are presented with these pictures of somebody they know is a celebrity, but like me, they have no Scooby-Doo as to who it is, and it's a real...
I don't think they even cheered when USA scored. I don't think they knew that it was a goal. I don't think some of them knew the rules, Jeff. Is that a goal? Yeah. Is that a goal? Well done.
Yeah. Well, I think we might touch on the USA later because Mauricio Pochettino got a pretty hard tap and gave it back as well with the American press who were critical of his side, which had 9 changes, by the way, losing against Turkey in a game which actually, you know what, was...
They're going to finish top.
Meaningless.
They're going to finish top still, wasn't they? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Now, Ecuador's win last night. We're going to talk Scotland, but I just got to say, the crowd, wow, and the manager as well, by the way.
I said to my kids, they were at mine whilst I was working, Jeff. I says, record the game. I'm going to be late. And when I get back, make sure it's not on because I want to start from the second half. So I got back into my house at 10:45. Great. Fantastic Uber experience. Put the game on second half, and I thought Ecuador were fantastic. Energy, legs, desire. Germany, very, very poor. I said that yesterday, didn't I? I thought Ecuador would win, and Germany are not a team to be scared of. And I love the desire from their manager as well, who's had his critics, hasn't he? I think family members of his have been arguing with Ecuador fans, but they showed desire. They knew what they had to do, and they did it. Simple.
I think Sebastian Bekasisi, I think, is him. I wonder if he's got back down from the stands yet, because he was being hauled, manhandled, hauled up there.
I was thinking, I was watching it, I was thinking, how's he going to get down? Like, did he get him a ladder to get down?
He could still be there.
You want to see those scenes, don't you, Jeff? You see how obviously meant to Ecuador, because like you says in the meeting, a lot of people were saying that they had Ecuador to do well.
Yeah, I know. And they didn't look like they were going to. But look, Sebastian Bekasisi, he was hanging on tight, and Scotland are just about hanging on to their World Cup hopes by a thread after that Ecuador win. So, do they only have themselves to blame?
Corner to the Ecuadorians, swung into a congested six-yard box, Paddington in, flick on at the near post, and turned in by Plata. Ecuador turning around in New Jersey. And remember, the ramifications are pretty grave for Scotland.
And Scotland currently cleaning out duty-free at the airport as their plane sits on the tarmac, ready for Glasgow.
Scotland's chances of reaching the last 32 of the World Cup down to around 5% after Ecuador beat Germany last night. 8th in the third place table. Slightly misleading at times, because there are a couple of sides who currently sit in second place in their groups who've only got 2 points. So it's not just down to the sides who are currently in third. But look, they could be out by the early hours of tomorrow morning. Look, let's reflect a bit on last night. How impressed were you with Ecuador? People are saying that Germany were poor on the night, and I think they were, but I'll be honest with you, I think Germany are no great shakes anyway. But the desire and the power and the pace of Ecuador.
Yes, and you see some of their standout players perform last night, didn't they? I thought Valencia was very good at times as well. I thought Pacho had a couple of mistakes, but he was strong throughout. And when you can bring on Estupiñán, ex-Brighton, AC Milan left-back, off from the bench, shows you how strong that left side is. In Capia over that side as well. Maybe they needed a couple of games, Jeff. Would you rather that? I think I would. They took you a couple of games to get to your best form, and you showed it against Germany. But then Germany had already qualified as well. But they didn't look great, Germany.
They didn't look
They're
great.
not nothing to be scared about at all, Jeff, when you watch them.
I mean, England could end up playing Ecuador, and they'd be a handful. They would be a handful.
Jeff, I've seen the right back before the goal literally sprinted the length of the pitch, a sloppy pass, sprinted all the way back. All of their players showed more energy, more fight, bullied Germany at times as well. That's a tough game for anybody.
They brought the sub on Kevin Rodriguez. Goodness me, he gave their back four a hard time.
Physical, weren't they, Ecuador?
Oh, absolutely. Now, the Everton manager, David Moyes, Jordan White, and Jordan yesterday, he was talking about Scotland. He says they're simply lacking the players to compete.
I think the biggest word what you're missing here, Simon, is quality. I don't think Scotland have the quality at the moment available to them to compete. I'm not saying that on the odd day that you wouldn't beat one of these teams and get good results, which we did against Denmark, for example, when we get through those games. But I just feel that generally Scotland have been short at that level. We talked about it a few days ago when we were talking about the Haiti game and only winning 1-0. We all felt it was a really good result. Not a really good result, but a good result because we had got 3 points. But you were right in what you were saying. We probably needed to score 3 or 4 goals.
Well, I mentioned it yesterday. I think they've only got maybe 5 players who play in elite leagues. You know, they just don't have the choice. Having said that, maybe that applies to a lot of other nations as well.
100%. And David Moyes is totally right. I said it before the game against Haiti. I says they've got to be beating them 3 or 4 because you've got Morocco and Brazil to play tough games. There's no disgrace in a nation like Scotland losing 3-0 to Brazil. The man of the goals, of course. Maybe the mistakes and the formation was wrong. But if they beat Haiti 3-4-0, they'll be going to the round of 32. Because, you know what's funny, Jeff? Turkey finished bottom of their group. 3 points. Better goal difference than Scotland. -2, Scotland -3.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's how crazy it is.
But the Scottish fans can point to the fact, and a lot of them have, you know, they got such a tough group.
Of course.
Brazil and Morocco,
Yep.
Wow. You know, that's a tough gig, isn't it?
Maybe if you look at the way Haiti have played, they're not as bad as what maybe we thought they
Maybe
would be
not. No.
as well. So maybe the 1-0 was the right result for the Scotland's capabilities. But it's just more the manner of it, Jeff, and maybe the bit of an embarrassment maybe of you're sitting around now, okay, we're down to 5%. Maybe tonight it's 2%. And then what? Sunday, see you later. Bye-bye, you can go home now.
Yeah. And we're taking your calls. Have Scotland been unlucky? Or do they only have themselves to blame? 03717 223344. Talking about blame, Dave in Rugby says Gabby was going to take a wasabi on the train and stink everyone out. Disgraceful and inconsiderate were all on board. People who take hot, smelly food onto a train are the worst. The cancellation was karma. Has he got a point there then, Gabs?
I don't know. Well, so what about when you go on a train, Jeff, and you get food yourself that they serve?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but everyone brings food onto trains, and I was that hungry. It would have been gone in 2 minutes. I apologise, mate, and I won't take food on the train again. Okay.
Everyone, by the way, I mean, you know, everyone does take food on the train. A lot of people take. You know what the biggest irritation of all is? It's worse than no air conditioning. It's when somebody behind you opens a giant packet of crisps.
Oh, the crunching.
And crunches and rustles all the way through. And then when they finish the thing, they scrunch it all together.
It did happen to me the other day. There was a guy to the left of me, Jeff, and he was like, on these crisps. And I'm like, surely the packet's finished now. It's been 25 minutes. How many have you got in that packet? You feel like just saying, mate, enough. Put the crisp down. Yeah. Have a wee.
I just.
That's why you need headphones, Jeff. Get your headphones on.
I can't bear it. Yeah. So we'll be taking calls on Scotland. Have they been unlucky? 03717 2233 44. 16 minutes past 4. You're listening to World Cup Game Day Live. What have you made of Stevie Clarke? He's come under the spotlight for how he's handled the journalists. He's come under the spotlight how he's set up Scotland, certainly in the second game as well. And some people have even questioned why he's had his term there extended before this World Cup. What do you make of that?
Well, Stevie Clarke, I played against him, and I know him, and he's not a Jose, you know. He's a very quiet guy, to be honest. And you have to look at what he's achieved as Scotland manager. It's brilliant, absolutely up there with the best. So. You know, people have got to realise in the press, I know the press getting on this, you know, this storm of the fans and the Tartan Army and we party and all that, but the press have got to realise, you know, where our players play, who they play for in the big league and the World League. And we've done well to get there. We could have qualified, and I don't think we will. I think Steve Clarke's been frank and he's been honest. And I think he's right. There's too many permutations against us. Which is going to, again, we're going to be crying losers, you know, oh, if only. I had it in 82. You know, we should have beaten Russia in the final game. We drew 2-2 because we conceded 2 goals against New Zealand, first game, 15th of June. So we knew it was going to be tough. And that was a side with Souness, Hansen, Dalglish, Strachan, etc. You know, it was a John Robertson. Great side. It's not easy when you get the big league. And, you know, the final stages, and I'm afraid we're just going to be, once again, we're just going to fall short. But it's a shame because the punters are brilliant. But I think the press have got to look at themselves and say, we're a small nation, we maybe have underachieved again. But thinking about it.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
A bit of me, Jeff.
To you, is it?
Guess it. Is it Daft Punk? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it Get Lucky?
What keeps the planet spinning?
I like this song, Jeff. Bit of me, mate. Daft Punk.
Get lucky on it.
Fingers crossed, honestly.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT at 21 minutes past 4. With me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. It's brought to you by Burger King. Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. Still to come, we'll be discussing Elliot Anderson's record-breaking move to Man City. Other headlines, the executive director of the White House's World Cup Task Force has said that the USA should bid to host the World Cup again.
No.
In 2038.
No.
That's been okay, though, has it? Just the time.
It's the other stuff, though, that I don't want them to have it. It's because of, like, the problem with tickets and them buying up all the hotels. I know that's FIFA that are doing that. But, like, the way that's happened, Jeff, I haven't liked at all.
Yeah. And, of course, we haven't had much of it so far, but the weather delays as well. That doesn't help either.
Fingers crossed.
Newcastle rejected a £55 million bid from Arsenal for midfielder Bruno Guimaraes. We'll be discussing that in more detail later in the show. What's the phrase? Dick Turpin wore a mask. Arsenal, 55 million. You are having
It's a bit cheeky, aren't they? Some of their offers they're putting in.
Oh, well, that's crazy. Day 2 of the third and final test between England and New Zealand at Trent Bridge, and thank goodness, a much better day for England. Mind you, that wouldn't have taken a great deal. Sam Ellard.
Yeah, it was around this time yesterday, wasn't it, Jeff? That New Zealand were 317 without loss, and you feared the worst for England. Fast forward 24 hours, they'll be very happy with where they're at. From 317 without loss in the afternoon session, England bowled New Zealand out for 438, taking 10 wickets for 138 runs. A really, really good effort for England with the ball after a tricky day yesterday. With the bat, England going along nicely. 109 for 1. They got off to a poor start when Emilio Gay was out for a duck, trying to work a short ball from Will O'Rourke into the leg side. He gloved it through to the keeper and was caught behind. Some luck for England, and Ben Duckett on 8. He was pushing out a wide ball from Nathan Smith, edged it to third slip. Should have been a regulation catch from Henry Nicholls. He dropped it though, and fast forward an hour or so, Ben Duckett is flying unbeaten on 69 from just 62 balls. He's looked in good touch. It's his first 50 in 15 innings. He's got to go back to last summer against July, and in 3 innings here at Trent Bridge, Duckett averages 110. He likes batting on his own ground. He's got 69. Bethel's got 34. England chipping away at New Zealand's first innings score of 438. England 110 for 1.
Yeah, been a good day for England, which is nice to say, isn't it? We haven't said it too often. Hasn't been a great tournament, though, as far as Scotland are concerned. Out in the States and Canada and Mexico, of course, 03717 223344. Have they been unlucky? And when you look at the draw, of course they've been unfortunate. But when you look at the goals they've conceded 4 goals in this tournament, Gabs, and every single one of them has been self-inflicted damage.
The problem I have with it, Jeff, is that, like, have Scotland got midfielders that can play the ball? Yes. Have they got defenders that can play the ball into those midfielders? No. So that's your problem. But it's okay playing from the back, Jeff, if your defenders can do it. Do they know the right time to play into midfielders? The Scotland defenders, centre-half, don't. Grant Hanley can't do it. McKenna can't do it. Hendry can't do it. And they've shown that and been punished. We said this yesterday. Why not just play to your strengths? Simple as that. People might say, oh, you know, that's not how you play football anymore. It's not attractive. People won't care in 10, 15 years' time. Yeah. And Scotland can be remembered as a team that got into the round of 32. Yeah. And even when you get to the round of 32, Jeff, you might get lucky with a draw.
Yeah.
And you get to the last 16. But now they're going to look back and say, okay, we fumbled there by trying to play a style of football that we're not really good at.
It's not quite over just yet, though. Not quite over just yet. Let's take a couple of calls. Martin, good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, Martin.
Afternoon, guys. How you doing? Great show as always.
Okay, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. So what do you think? Scotland unlucky, or have they got themselves to blame?
You know what? Scotland knocked themselves out, right? And what I mean there is, guys, I'm listening to all the different views, but I'm a passionate man. I'm part of the Tartan Army, and I love being Scottish. But where I'm at was the first game against Haiti, guys. That was a really jittery game. There was a lot of nerves there, and we didn't actually play to our strengths, and yet we managed to bag the 3 points. The Morocco game, me personally, I felt that was the hardest game for us in the group, and I thought we navigated parts of that game really well.
Yep.
But I don't feel that we really expressed ourselves as well as we could have, to your point. And then the Brazil game, you know what, guys? Apart from 2 schoolboy errors, the defending was schoolboy defending. Apart from those 2, I'm happy enough with how we played against Brazil. So there's a lot to work on. But we're realists here in Scotland, guys. We're totally realists. And you know what I think? I think we maybe didn't leave enough of our mark on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying earlier, we could have maybe sat in, been a bit boring, tried to counter-attack. But you know what? We haven't got world-class stars, right? And I'll tell you what we do have. We've got Andy Robertson, we've got Scott McTominay, and we've got John McGinn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to be absolutely honest, guys. I don't think any of them turned up for the tournament. And we relied on guys like that to carry the new, younger guys on.
When it's all said and done in a few months' time, will Scotland fans look back and say, you know what? How many years has it been since the last World Cup? At least we got to the World Cup and we get into tournaments now.
No, I know exactly what you're saying, but you know what? And it maybe sounds crazy, but I'm absolutely buzzing for 2030. I hope we qualify again. I'm already looking at taking my whole family across with me to Spain or wherever we're at. And you know what? No Scotland, no party, guys. Let's do this.
Brilliant. Martin, I love your optimism.
Yes,
As
great
Scotland
call,
fan
mate.
who's looking forward to 2030 already. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm going to be around in 2030.
You got to be optimistic at times, though, Jeb, because yes, Scotland, we can say this and that about mistakes and this and that, but at the end of the day, look at the quality that they've got in their 26-man squad. Should they be qualifying for the round of 32? Not really, the way they played in all 3 games.
For me, Gabby, Scotland qualifying for the major tournaments.
Amazing.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
That's the achievement. Anything else on top of that, that's a bonus.
Totally agree. You can kick yourself, can't you, and say, oh, we didn't make this mistake, we didn't make that mistake. But maybe the pressures of playing in the World Cup with some of the players took their toll. You're playing Brazil and you're a bit like, okay, we want to play from the back, but I don't want it. Look at the one that Hendry got away with, like we says, on Vinny Jr. That should have been a goal. Wasn't big enough a foul. But it's not a situation, Jeff, where you go super hard on Scotland, is it?
No.
As a Scotland fan, you can't.
Jimmy, who's a Rangers fan from Glasgow, he's gone super hard on them. He said, unlucky with the draw, yes, with 2 top 10 teams. Certainly not unlucky in the games we played. Why, oh why? Play out from the back, this is what you were saying, with players that can't do it. Everyone thinks pet football is the only way you can play. Play to your strengths, it's not hard. And he adds Clark out.
What would Brazil have hated if Scotland got everyone up, Jeff, and they just played to Lyndon Dykes or Shankland and Chadham's off them, got John McGinn and Doak in and around them as well, McTominay, and just physical. Look at Ecuador last night. Physical. Germany weren't up for that battle. Brazil wouldn't be up for that battle. Vinny Jr. wouldn't have been up for a physical game. But when you gift goals like they did, how can Vinny Jr. have a free header? Yeah. How?
Still clinging on to those hopes, but only just. Still to come. We'll be joined by European football expert Kevin Hatchard. But first, it's time for No Googling. And we want to know, it's penalty shootouts again. But this time, which country's lost the most penalty shootouts in World Cup history? Which country has lost the most penalty shootouts in World Cup history? I'm going to give you a clue. It's not England.
I think we've done this already. I think we have. I think I know.
I think I know. Well, who do you think it is?
Is it? It's not Uruguay, is it?
We haven't done it already. Or if we have, your memory is as bad as I thought it was. We'll give you the answer when we come back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to World Cup Game Day Live.
Bentley has been terrified all week about the Ghanaian witch doctor he slagged off.
No, he did not.
Supposedly putting a curse on Harry Kane and England's number 9, subsequently missing a sitter. Now, thankfully, the witch doctor, of course, lifted the curse.
It's funny.
Right. Now, there was a report in The Sun that you, Emmanuel, were cursed by a witch doctor.
It's Senegal.
Ignored it
2002.
and got injured.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, before the World Cup in 2002. No, after the World Cup, actually, because we went out very quickly, during the World Cup in Asia. And when I came back, I was in holidays in south of France, and I had a friend, he was selling watches, on the beach, and he was expecting me. He was waiting for me for days, and then when he saw me, he came to me straight away, and he said, "I'm so happy to see you because I have something important to tell you." And I said, "What is it?" And he said, "You have to be very careful because you have how can I say that? A curse, yeah, on you, and you have to follow exactly what I'm going to tell you." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "You have to go in Africa and you have to buy a cow and you have to kill it, and you have to follow."
Bit detailed and extreme, that one.
Yeah, but I said, "Listen, I understand, and I really appreciate that, but this is your traditions, and I'm not into it, so I won't do it." And 6 months later, I had to stop. But is it coincidental link? I won't say that.
So what happened to you? You got injured?
Yeah. And they cut
got...
my leg in 2 parts, so I had to stop playing football.
Did you get injured kicking a cow?
No.
Hold on. What part you got injured? Was it the calf?
No, that's my knee, the right knee, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't believe in any of that?
No, yes, I believe in it.
Are you amazed that Bentley slagged him off?
No, I believe in numbers. I believe in sign, around. I think you have to be...
okay.
Is it superstitions? I have no idea, but...
Are you superstitious?
Iconic. There's no other word. An 18-carat gold trophy that owns the world, and it waits. It waits for 4 years. It's 1971, and FIFA need a new trophy to replace the Jules Rimet, so they launch a worldwide design competition. And in his studio in Milan, 50-year-old sculptor Silvio Gazzaniga immediately gets to work. But instead of sending FIFA a picture, he goes further and makes a prototype they can hold. It works. FIFA choose his design over 52 others, and perhaps the most beautiful piece of silverware or goldenware enters the beautiful game. Let's let the artist himself describe it. Gazzaniga said the idea was to create something symbolising exertion, dynamism, and the jubilation of an athlete in the moment of victory, with all the joy that contains. The malachite rings in the base fitted the sculpture well because it's green like a football field, and it's also a precious stone. The first captain to lift the trophy was Franz Beckenbauer in 1974, and of course, it's only the greatest who get their hands on it. Zoff, Matthias paved the way for the modern-day heroes who dreamt of lifting Gazzaniga's masterpiece. But there was something about this man holding it that seemed to deliver everything the sculptor had imagined. Were I to ever redo it, the artist once said, I wouldn't change a thing.
Good afternoon, you're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. Still to come, all the latest from the England camp ahead of their third group game tomorrow. Now, a few moments ago, we brought you the first no Google of the afternoon. We asked which country has lost the most penalty shootouts in World Cup history. Gabby thought he'd heard the question before, but he still didn't know the answer.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, is it?
Not a good sign, no, mate.
Wouldn't be good in a quiz, would I? I'm going to guess.
I've told you the answer.
Oh. Jeff, come on.
You're not allowed to guess now.
Okay.
But I tell you what, they lost penalty shootouts in 1986, 2002, 2018 and 2022. And the answer is Spain. Couple of quick texts for you. Anonymous one, this one. I'm afraid Ali McCoy hit the nail on the head before they went, leaving a striker at home that scored 19 goals in the championship in Ollie McBurney. Was just bizarre. Steve Clark asked to answer the question on why he was left at home, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't create anything, that's all I would say, whether Ollie's in the side or not.
Yeah, he would have been starved as well.
I've got one that's aimed at you, Gabby, from Jay Asher. I love it how Gabby's telling Scotland to play to their strengths and no one would complain when they're through to the next round. But when Arsenal do that, throughout the whole season, it's frowned upon.
Because Scotland don't have the capabilities that Arsenal do. If Arsenal played proper football, entertaining football, they would have still won the league because they've got outstanding players.
Okay, and that is the defence of Mr. Agbonlahor.
Yes.
Okay.
Court adjourned.
Let's round up all the latest World Cup action then right now on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Daily Tournament Roundup on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Drive worldwide. Why?
Yeah, this is Drive Worldwide, where we get all the latest from North America. Joining us now is our World Cup expert, Kevin Hatchard. Afternoon, Kev.
Afternoon, gents. How are we?
Yeah, really, really good. Thanks, mate. Let's start with a side of impressed a lot of people, I think, so far, Kevin. That's Japan. I mean, into the last 32, where they'll face Brazil after that 1-1 draw with Sweden last night. They impressed me so far. Brazil won't be looking forward to this, will they?
No, I don't think they will. And I think Japan have impressed in yet another World Cup, because if you look at Qatar in 2022, they look really good in the group stage. They beat Germany, they beat Spain, and they're a bit unlucky to go slap bang into Croatia in the first knockout round. And here they are again, having excelled in a group stage, and they find themselves running into Brazil. But Brazil won't fancy this, I wouldn't have thought, because the big area where I think there's a weakness in Brazil is that balance in midfield. We know about what they're like going forward. We know that Cunha's look sharp. We know about Vinicius Junior's form. But there are big gaps in that midfield, and you just feel that Japan, with their technical quality, with all of those little link-ups they've got all over the pitch, they've got an opportunity to really get into them. So I think this could go all the way. I could see this going to extra time, and maybe one moment of magic either way could decide it. And this has been a Japanese team that, you know, there is this big overarching project that the Japanese FA have set out that by 2050, they want Japan to host another World Cup. They want to win the World Cup. And Hajime Moriyasu, the coach, was saying in the build-up to this World Cup, why can't we win it? Why can't we go all the way? So they believe they can do something.
How good have they been? Because I was saying to Jeff, like the last couple of weeks, watching them, they've been a team that, like I'm saying, listen, you do not want to play them. They're fit. They've got quality as well. Look at their goal yesterday from Maeda. Great passing in behind from Maeda. And also they're missing Endo, Matoma, Minamino. I mean, it's some team, isn't it? When you look at Tanaka, you look at Kamada from Crystal Palace. Nakamura's a very good player as well. If I was a betting man, Kev, I wouldn't be back in Brazil at all.
Yeah, Nakamura's looked really good, hasn't he? Coming in off that left-hand side. I thought the goal was typical Japan, the one that they scored against Sweden. Lots of quick interplay, everybody knowing where everybody else is. And they've got players, you know, Daichi Kamada's just won the Conference League with Palace. He's been a key player for them. Litz Doan hasn't quite hit the heights all the way through this season for Frankfurt, but for Freiburg before that, he was absolutely outstanding. Maeda looks as though he might be in the best form he's ever been in, maybe. Of course, had a really big role to play for Celtic towards the end of that title race. So you've got guys who are really, really dangerous going forward. My worry about them is defensively, because as you mentioned, there's no Endo. Because of that injury, that ankle injury that he suffered with Liverpool. They had a few players with question marks over them going into the tournament in terms of their fitness. And I just think maybe you can get at them. So I'll be really interested to see what damage Brazil can do going forward. But I'd expect Japan to make plenty of chances as well. So that could be an absolute cracker.
Kev, just quickly on this one, when we go to World Cups, there's always speculation about coaches, and what they're going to do afterwards. Pochettino is a prime example of that, I guess. But, Moriyasu's been in charge for 8 years. He's achieved a deal of success in that time. Could you imagine anybody looking at him as a potential club manager in the future?
Yeah, it's probably not something we see often enough, but if you look at his club record before he took the Japan job, he was actually very impressive. He won the J-League 3 times with Sanfrecce Hiroshima, and they weren't necessarily always seen as one of the big hitters expected to win the league. There would be a language barrier to a certain extent in terms of coming to England. He's got basic English, but not anything right now, it's believed, that could be anything near fluent. I'm sure he would work on that. But yeah, he's done a super job. He's been able to, it's not that often we see international managers manage to deal with that pressure for that long, but he has developed this team. He's not very demonstrative. He's not very effusive, really. So it'd be interesting to see how he would deal with the pressure of a top European job. But in terms of the actual coaching, he'd absolutely have the chops to do it, I would think.
Kev, Mbappe versus Haaland tonight. Talk to me. What are we expecting from this game?
Yeah, what's really interesting to me about this is how strong do the respective teams go? Because, of course, you want top spot. France have got the edge at the moment on the goal difference. There's been talk that Haaland might not start for Norway. They might look to protect him for the last 32. I think that would be a bit of a shame because, obviously, you think about Messi against Ronaldo, and we're getting towards the end of that generation-defining rivalry. What's the next one? And you look at Mbappe at Real Madrid, you look at Haaland at Manchester City, and that could be the next kind of huge attacking rivalry, really. So I think it'd be nice for them both to start. I think what's been really fascinating about this World Cup is it's been a long domestic season, and yet the stars are really shining. We've seen Messi, we've seen Haaland score goals, we've seen Mbappe, seen plenty of top players really step up and perform, and that's been quite impressive.
Yeah. Look, we saw Germany last night going down against an inspired Ecuador side, Kev. I think everybody would point the finger at Manuel Neuer for the winning Ecuador goal. Should he be doing better? Should he have actually come out of international retirement? Was that the right call in your view?
My feeling is it was quite irresponsible, if I'm honest, because here's a guy that, yes, has been one of the great goalkeepers of his generation. Nobody disputes that. But he had been saying up until, the early part of this year, it's not going to happen. I'm not coming back. You need to stop asking me about it. And then this complete about turn. And what that did was it then, knocked out the goalkeeper who'd played all the way through the qualifiers, Oliver Baumann. Now, nobody's saying Baumann's on Neuer's level, but there was a certain consistency there. Baumann was playing well. He certainly hadn't done anything to warrant being kicked out of the team. But now they've made room for Neuer. And what we've got is the Neuer that we've probably had for the last year or so, which is the Neuer that can produce amazing performances, brilliant saves, but also throws a few in and makes mistakes. And we saw that in the Champions League against Real Madrid, when in the first leg, he was absolutely outstanding. And in the second leg, he gifts a goal to Real Madrid really early on. So it's kind of what we've seen from Neuer recently. I mean, this is a guy that's 40. That's not the be-all and end-all, but this is a guy that came back from a really serious injury. He had a skiing injury that kept him out for the best part of a year. The doctors had effectively said to him, this is a really horrific injury. They had allegedly given him around about a 10% chance of coming back to professional football. So I admire his dedication. I admire what he's done to come back, but this feels like a step too far to me.
Kev, you know more about German football than all of us put together. I'm not convinced by them as one of the favourites for the tournament. What do you think of their chances? And what's the feeling in Germany? No expectation to win?
There's always a level of expectation because it's Germany, but I think there is a fair bit of trepidation. I said going into this, I felt they were in the level of teams below the favourites. So, you look at Spain, you look at England, you look at France, Argentina maybe. I'd put them in that level below because I think there's a physical aspect. I think they can be bullied to a certain extent, and I think Ecuador showed that. I think they have some lovely patterns going forward. They play some gorgeous football, but I think when they lose the ball, then there's a real danger. And I think you can get at them. Losing Nico Schlotterbeck to injury, I think, is big, not just for what he does defensively, but that balance. He's got a lovely left foot, brings the ball out from the back and gives you some passing lanes there. So they've got some wonderful individuals. They've got a very smart coach in Julian Nagelsmann. I just think, can they really dig out result after result against the big hitters? And I'm not sure they can.
Let's finish, Kev, with the USA, beaten by Turkey in the last group game last night. Mauricio Pochettino was a bit fed up with the media criticism about that performance.
It's very positive.
Yeah, we've seen a fair bit of
the way that we finish. Cannot be possible. I'm sorry, guys. It cannot be possible that Turkey finish celebrating the 3 point and Australia celebrating the qualification, Paraguay celebrating the qualification, and come here and for you not to say congratulations that we won the group. That is a little bit sad, but only that. I need to remember you and everyone that we won the group. Sorry, guys. We won.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that immediately comes to mind is that he had better hairdressers in West London and Southampton, didn't he? For goodness sake, what's he done?
Gone for the Grealish, hasn't he?
Yeah. But he's right, isn't he, to be a bit miffed, you know? It didn't matter. They've won the group. They're through.
He needs to get out on the surfboard, I think, with that hair. Look, I think we've seen a fair bit of grumpy Pochettino, actually, as US boss. He was quite annoyed about the uproar about him not phoning players to tell them that they weren't going to be part of the squads. He's done a terrific job, I think, because I had big reservations about the US going into this tournament because they had a lot of players who weren't in great form at club level. But I think what he's done, which is very clever, is he's lent into their strengths, which is that physicality, that ability to press, really active with and without the ball. They've used the crowd really well. However, my reservation about them is as soon as they come up against an elite team, they're going to really struggle. And some of the friendlies would tell you that. And they've come up against Turkey, who, knew they were going home.
Yes.
And I know he made lots of changes, so I get that. But I thought big gaps appeared, and Turkey were able to make the most of them. So, yes, they've done well. They've won the group, no doubt about that. I can't see them getting anywhere near the semi-finals or something like that. I just can't see how he does that.
Paul Anderson, Kev, says rather harshly, he says, Poch looking like Russell Crowe. Unfortunately for him, Russell Crowe now. That is. Kev, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Kev.
Cheers, gents.
That was a round before the World Cup action on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They're here for it.
Daily Tournament Roundup on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
And we'll be looking at some betting odds when we come back in a couple of minutes.
Manchester City have agreed a £116 million deal to sign Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. The fee, as you might have guessed, is the most ever paid for a British player and represents a new record for Manchester City. He's 23, Anderson, and has now been given permission to undertake a medical right here in New York today, with the deal subject to the finalising of personal terms. You would think that will get done quick style. Alex, Elliot Anderson, this is a remarkable rise, isn't it?
Certainly is, when you think that he went from Newcastle to Forest for a relatively modest sum. I know Eddie Howe at the time didn't particularly want to cash in, but obviously they had issues with PSR.
Yep.
It's interesting, the figures. City side are saying 116 million. Forest side are saying actually it's nearer to 130 million. Either way, it's a record, as you say, for a British player, potentially a Premier League record fee, eclipsing what Liverpool paid for Alexander Isak this time last year. I was speaking to a couple of ex-players at the darts last night, and we were pondering, if Elliot Anderson is really a £130 million player, how much would someone like Paul Scholes be worth in the current market? I think he's a terrific player, Elliot Anderson. I'm not sure he's a £130 million player.
Well, sure. He joined Forest, as Alex says, from Newcastle in a £35 million deal in 2023. So, not so long after that, we've now arrived at 116 million.
Well, brilliant business for Forest. If I'm going to my chairman and I'm going to buy him, let's say, I've got my Manchester City head on, and the figure's up near 130 million, I would be very uncomfortable paying that sort of money for him. I think he's got a lot of potential in front of him. As he stands at the moment, he's a very good player. Top quality, world-class, 130.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Good afternoon, you're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. 4:53 at the moment, still to come. We'll be discussing Elliot Anderson's record-breaking move to Man City. But let's take a look at the odds right now with Bet365.
On the ball, on talkSPORT with Bet365, making this summer even bigger with our brand new Matchday Reveal. Available every day. New and eligible customers. T's and C's apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And as ever, Steve Freeth from Bet365 joins us. Afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Afternoon, lads.
Right, this is going to be a big price, I'm guessing. Latest odds, please, on Scotland to qualify for the knockout phase.
Oh, Jeff, let me give you the prices of some of the teams, right, to qualify to the last 32. Cape Verde, 4-9. Congo, 8-11. Saudi Arabia, 13-8. New Zealand, 11-1. Uzbekistan, 12-1. Scotland, 16-1.
You're a bad man, Steve.
No,
bad man.
No, listen, Jeff, I'm just saying they need more snookers than Stephen Hendry, John Higgins, and Alan McManus put together. Yeah.
It's not going to happen, is it?
No.
We've been talking a bit about, tonight and obviously the clash between Mbappe and Haaland. What about Golden Boot winner odds at the moment then, Steve?
Yeah, it's fascinating still, Jeff. It's obviously tight between all the superstars. You know, Messi, he's 7-4 favourite currently, but he's still got to play Jordan as well, and they're 2-11 to beat Jordan. So when Mbappe and Haaland play tonight, they're the second and third favourites, respectively. So Mbappe's 2-1. He's got 4 goals already. That's a competitive game, isn't it, against Norway? Likewise, Haaland, who's 6-1 with 4 to his name. So yeah, the big boys have stepped up really early. And it's a fascinating heat at the top of the that market.
There's a team that are playing earlier in the morning that I'm looking at, and I feel like they will qualify, maybe even win. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. What have you got for a draw and a win for Cape Verde? Either one.
Are you going to watch that, Gab? 1
o'clock?
o'clock?
I'll set my alarm, mate. Yeah.
You might get back, might you? Might get back to the Midlands for that on the train.
Yeah. My train's got to go via Manchester to get back to Birmingham.
Yeah, I tell you what, it is. It's a tight heat. So it's 13-8 Cape Verde, 13-8 Saudi Arabia, and 23-10 the draw. So I fancy goals in this.
I think Cape Verde can draw and still go through, can't they?
Yeah.
Their goal difference.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
Won't it?
Yeah, the fact that they're 4-9 to qualify is absolutely incredible, I think. And the goalkeeper has been very, very popular indeed. I'll just add that Josimar Vecina we're 8-1 him to be player of the match tonight. And if he has a good game, I think Cape Verde go through. And he's been very good this tournament
Great
so
team,
far.
Cape Verde. Someone tipped them to lose 7-0 to Spain, and my social media is still getting Cape Verde fans. Dissing me.
Is that the same person who tipped England to beat Ghana 4-0 by any chance? It is.
Yes.
Wow.
But now I'm going to tip England.
Quite a tipster.
I'm going to tip England to draw 0-0. It might go the opposite way, and we win 5.
Hey, just one quickie, Steve. I mean, everybody expects all the big teams to go through from the group stages, but what about Belgium? I mean, at the moment, they're stuck down there on 2 points. They play New Zealand, are a bit of draw specialists as well. Any prospect of an upset in that?
We're saying no, but they're 2-11 to win, Jeff, and New Zealand are 12-1. But I think Belgium are just one of those sides, a bit like Portugal, really, I suppose, that it's got nothing to do with Roberto Martinez's career, by the way. But it's just one of those sides that you just don't touch. And I think as a bookmaker, I think you'd be just happy to lay Belgium at any price. I do have to tell you, I did have back Maxime de Kuyper to score in the last game. From left back. Yeah. He was bombing forward. He must have had about 25 shots. Well, he did in my head, and somehow we missed. So you watch him score tonight at a shorter price.
There's one more team that need a result tonight. Uruguay probably need a win, don't they, against Spain?
Gab, I think personally the players, and you'll know what it's like in a dressing room, the players aren't having Bielsa.
No,
they're not having his methods.
No.
They're absolutely shattered already. I'd imagine training is really, really intense. And whether there's a bit of a mutiny or whether they do it their own way or do it the usual way, but they are up against it to qualify. They're 5-1 to win this game. I think Spain can win this. Depending on the side he obviously picks, but they're massively, massively, up against it. So I think Uruguay again, they've struggled. They're one of the fanciest teams, but they are 2-5 to go out. And considering that Cape Verde are 4-9, then to go through, it's crazy group.
Spot on, Steve. I mean, the reports are that sort of Valverde, Ugarte, Bentancur are among a group who want Bielsa out. Steve, thanks very much.
Cheers, lads.
Top man, Steve.
And those are the latest odds with Bet365, whatever the moment.
It's a shame, though, isn't it? Uruguay, a lot of history in the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
And they're going to be hosts, aren't they? The next one, they're going to have a game there as well. Can't have that toxicness, Jeff, at a World Cup.
Well, he fell out with Luis Suarez, didn't he? And Bielsa, they don't like his methods. They think he works them too hard, poor babies. And they don't like his style of play either. They want to play, in more of a low block and hit teams on the break, where Bielsa wants to play a bit more on the front.
He's the gaffer. Get on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. He is the gaffer. Tell you what, he won't be the gaffer if they lose to Spain and go out after tonight, I wouldn't imagine. But those were the latest odds with Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
On the ball, on talkSPORT with Bet365. Making this summer even bigger with Matchday Reveal. Available every day. New and eligible customers. T's and C's apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And when we come back, we'll be talking about the clash of the titans that are Haaland and Mbappe. That's next.
When you look at Scotland over the 3 games, David, what is your overall assessment and takeaway? I mean, most of us looked at it and felt that Morocco and Brazil would be a reach to get anything from, and that the outcome of the Haitian game would be important and that goals needed to be scored. Criticism is being made of Steve Clarke. I'm not asking you to jump on the bandwagon, but the manner in which Scotland have played, the lack of bravery, the fact that they've been very negative in lots of people's minds, and Steve is a defensive coach. When you hear all those things, what's your assessment of these 3 games and the opportunities that Scotland have either taken or missed?
Yeah. Well, we spoke the other day. I think the biggest word what you're missing here, Simon, is quality. I don't think Scotland have the quality at the moment available to them to compete. I'm not saying that on the odd day that you wouldn't beat one of these teams and get good results, which we did against Denmark, for example, when we get through those games. But I just feel that generally Scotland have been short at that level. We talked about it a few days ago when we were talking about the Haiti game and only winning 1-0. We all felt it was a really good result. Not a really good result, but a good result because we had got 3 points. But you were right in what you were saying. We probably needed to score 3 or 4 goals. But I don't think MD, who's played Haiti yet, or certainly Morocco, have found it that easy. And I don't think they've been as easy a game as what maybe everybody hoped it might have been. So yeah, it might have cost us not scoring 2 or 3 goals in that one game. But I think us getting a victory in the opening game of the World Cup seemed like a good result for us and a good return.
But David, are you saying virtually that it doesn't really matter who's in the Scotland dugout? This is as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm. Look, Steve Clarke's done brilliant, Jim. You know as well as I do. We've not been able to get to competitions. Steve has. Steve's got us there over the last few years, a few competitions.
Few people win the World Cup as a player. Very few people win the World Cup as a manager. Only 3 men in history have done both. One of them is Didier Deschamps. I mean, what a team. For our younger viewers, that's Zidane, Desailly, Leboeuf, Thuram. I could go on. And in 1998, those legends were captained by Didier Deschamps. Before that tournament, Deschamps had been winning league titles and Champions Leagues with Marseille and Juventus and had led Les Bleus since 1996. They hadn't even qualified for the World Cups in 1990 and 94, but Deschamps had spearheaded the Renaissance. It culminated in that final against Brazil. The 30-year-old playing at the base of midfield was keen to get stuck in. Fais-lui savoir que tu es là, French for let him know you're there, according to Google Translate. Zidane and Petit got the glory, but Deschamps controlled the game before lifting the trophy into the Parisian night sky. After winning the Euros 2 years later, he hung up his boots and jumped into management. He had spells in club football before, in 2012, being put in charge of his nation. France scraped into the 2014 World Cup via the playoffs and were pretty pleased about it. Even a quarter-final defeat couldn't dampen the optimism. The tables, French fans believed, were starting to turn. They were runners-up to Portugal in their own Euros, but that silver medal around the manager's neck was about to change colour. In 2018, World Cup magic. France handed an almighty beatdown to Croatia, and Deschamps got his hands on this for a second time. It meant that he joined Brazil's Mario Zagallo and Germany's Franz Beckenbauer as the only men to have won the World Cup as a player and manager. France's victory even turned their president, Emmanuel Macron, into a meme. These still make me laugh, honestly. Deschamps went close to defending the title in 2022, but some guy called Lionel Messi had his own storyline to complete. Deschamps captained legends, he managed legends, and his World Cup achievements are legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this guy his flowers.
Good afternoon, 6 minutes past 5 o'clock. It is Friday, June the 26th, and you're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Still to come, we'll find out what our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, has been up to in New York. But right now, another huge night of World Cup action coming your way across the talkSPORT network.
Ball given away from the goal kick. Surely Mbappe gets a second. He does.
He's still the star of the team. This is exactly what you expect from great players.
Picked up though really well by Berg into Haaland. And Erling Haaland has another.
I couldn't care too much about that game now. They're probably going to win against us. They're probably going to win the whole tournament.
Skill by Mbappe though, and he's found the net. And Senegal are back in the game. Miner wants it pulled back. Jamal on the far post. There it is. Spain lead. Finally they hit the back of the net. And who else was going to get it but the teenage sensation, Lamine Yamal. It's always a mistake here at the back by Uruguay. And Cape Verde have equalised. It's a horrendous error at the back by Uruguay. Uruguay 2, Cape Verde 2.
Yep, as ever, every single game at the World Cup tonight is live across the talkSPORT network as teams bid for a place in the last 32, and that includes Norway against France. It's live on talkSPORT at 8, plus Uruguay against Spain at 1 in the morning. Cape Verde against Saudi Arabia is live on talkSPORT 2 at the same time. So the easiest way to stay across everything, simply by downloading the talkSPORT app. Let's hear from the Norway manager, Ståle Solbakk, and speaking ahead of that game against France. He was asked about the importance of both Haaland and Mbappe to their national sides.
I think that both of them will have many good years in front of them and can keep continue to make headlines all over the world. I'm pretty sure about that. The difference is they are two different kind of players, I think. And they are playing in different leagues, and one is playing for a big country, one is playing for a small country. So there are also differences, but I agree with you. They will continue to make headlines in the coming years as well, because they are the best in their positions.
The best in their positions, 4 goals apiece already at this tournament. Here's a simple question for you, Gabs, then. You can only have one of them, Haaland or Mbappe. Who are you going to pick?
Mbappe.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
you want to think about it?
Yeah. The reason why is, listen, what Haaland offers, clinical finisher. He's a pest in the box. You know, he's going to be in and around that 6-yard box and get goals. He's already scored one for Norway in this World Cup, where it's across the box and he's there. Mbappe won't score those sort of goals, maybe. He'll want to come on the edge of the box and get involved more. But what Mbappe can do is a bit of a cheat code, because I was a quick player, average finisher, average at dribbling. Mbappe's got it all. He's probably one of the quickest players in the world, one of the best dribblers in the world, also up there with one of the best finishers in the world. He's got it all, Jeff. If it's off the right, if it's number 10, if it's down the middle, if it's off the left. Some of the goals he scored in his career, scoring a hat-trick in the World Cup final and losing, already won the World Cup with France. This World Cup so far, we talk about his weaker foot. Look at his left foot goal the other night. Keeper could have done better maybe, but still, he can use both feet. I just think if you're on the halfway line and Mbappe stands you up, I don't care who you are. Maybe Kyle Walker 5 years ago, but apart from him, you're in big trouble. So I would choose Mbappe because I loved quick players. Thierry Henry was my idol as a youngster, but there might be other players, other strikers similar to Haaland maybe in their career that will prefer Haaland, but it's hard to really choose in quality. Yeah. They've both got different things that they're good at.
Look, Clash of the Giants, the crown jewels for both of their respective sides. Why would either manager be playing them this evening? They're both already qualified. Why would you take the risk?
I think Mbappe starts. I think Mbappe will have had a meeting with Deschamps and says, listen, I want to catch him, the greatest of all time. Messi, he's on 5, I'm on 4.
Team game.
I know, mate, but look at Ronaldo. It's all got team game, but look how desperate he was to score. I think Mbappe will be so adamant to score. Please just give me 45 then. Please, Gaffer, I'll bring me on for 30. He's going to want goals. Mbappe's going to want to break Messi's World Cup top goal scorer record this tournament, Jeff. Is he 3 behind Messi now or 2? He's going to want to break it this tournament. So if you'll see Mbappe on the bench, though his arms folded, he'll be desperate to come on. Haaland as well. Haaland scored 4. He doesn't know how far Norway going to go. Have Norway got 2 more games after the tournament? So he's going to be desperate to start. But I agree. If I was the manager, I'd say, listen, shut up, both of yous. Go and have a little strop in the corner, but you're not playing a second because I need you for the last 32.
You can find out who starts and who finishes.
Who would you pick?
As well.
Actually, Jeff, I know you like to not sit on the fence.
Look, I'd probably pick Haaland because I can't remember more of a brute of a centre forward than he is, and his desire. I've never seen. I can't remember a forward player with more desire. And you're right. Tonight he'll want to be out there because he always wants to be out there.
So what? You're right about the desire. His goal. I can't remember who it was. One of the group games so far. His goal where Odegaard waits and waits and waits, and he's there, isn't he? Like he's sprinting, big arms, big legs to get from the halfway line. Give it to me. Don't give it to the player on the right. I'm here, Martin. And then boom, Odegaard plays him through, finishes his. Yeah. It's that desire, isn't it?
That's what I.
He scored loads of them for Dortmund, didn't he?
He did.
Loads of them from the halfway line, sprinting in behind.
Yeah.
It's tough choice.
Not
a bad choice.
It is a tough choice for sure. Norway against France, talkSPORT, 8 o'clock this evening. Right, time now to get all the latest from the England camp with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
On England's Corner on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
So England preparing for their third and final group game against Panama. It's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night at 10. Eberechi Eze has been speaking to the media today. He was asked about the possibility of him playing alongside Jude Bellingham from the start.
Yeah, I think that's an option. It's something that the manager has spoken about before, so it's definitely something that we've got. But yeah, the manager chooses the team, and they do so much research and analysis to find out what's the best way to attack an opponent. So yeah, trusting what they're doing and the way that they think, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that make the decision.
England starting 2 10s tomorrow night. Do you see that happening?
In my world, I would love it, but I live in maybe a different world to Thomas Tuchel. I don't think he will. Like you said earlier, Jeff, don't want to take your comment away from you, but if Rice doesn't start, I agree that maybe another centre midfielder starts, maybe Mainu instead. But I just look at Panama. Panama shouldn't offer us problems that maybe Ghana did on the counter-attack. Well understood, you're playing 2 centre midfielders. In a dream world for me, I'll play Anderson sitting, I'll play Rodgers and Bellingham. If you want to play Bellingham or Eze, whoever it is, 2 10s. And Bellingham can join Harry Kane in the box, have another threat from crosses. Maybe those crosses might not be coming in if Kwanzaa is playing right back.
I was shocked to hear that, were you?
Don't get that at all. He's a centre-half. He can play right back. But in a game against a low block that Panama are going to offer, your fullbacks are going to be so important, getting good quality into the box.
I mean,
Why would
surely
you play
Jed
Kwanzaa?
Spence reverts to right back and Nico O'Reilly plays left back. And they've both got an attacking threat.
Exactly. It's baffling to hear that. We don't know for definite. But then could you complicate even more and say, do you play, I don't know, Anderson, you're right back, but you're not, if that makes sense, Jeff. Like, the centre-halves can cover because Panama are going to have so many players back. You start at right back Anderson, but I want you getting forward and getting crosses in.
Do you think a World Cup is the time to experiment with things like that?
Not really, no. But I'll just look at like what Panama are going to do. Can we get as many attacking players on that pitch from the start with quality? But Jeff, is this a game that Trent would have been perfect for?
Well, obviously, and I'm with the best will in the world now. Jed Spence probably going to start right back. Could be Kwanzaa. But if you had the choice, Jed Spence, Gerald Kwanzaa, or Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's
incredible, isn't it?
You'd be picking Alexander-Arnold every day of the week.
What did we struggle with against Ghana? We struggled with our crosses into the box from Declan Rice on our right-hand side, and Reece James was very poor with his crossing, and that's why he's in the squad a lot, because of his delivery. One player that we've got, Real Madrid right back, one of the best crosses in the world, which would have been perfect for our last 2 games. Next game, tomorrow, and the last game against Ghana would have been Trent, and he's not available.
No, he's having regrets. He's picked his squad, and that is that Toon Tony wants a word with you. And he said,
"Oh no,
yeah, I'm afraid so." He says that shows what Gabby knows. And Mbappe couldn't score against Newcastle in open play. Took a penalty that shouldn't have been given in the 98th minute. Haaland bullies all the Premier League defences. Fact. Mbappe's too scared to come to the Premier League. where Tino would have him on toast.
Yeah, Mbappe can't do it on a Wednesday night in Stoke, can he? No chance.
I don't think we'll ever get the chance to see. Toon Tony also says, keep the faith with the pool, Jeff. Hey,
Shawcross would kick him.
Second favourites for the National League. I mean, honestly, it's like, it's like having money given to you. That was a look at all the latest in the England camp with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They're here for it.
On England's Corner on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Well, we're taking your calls. Would you like to see England play 2 10s tomorrow against Panama? Do you want to see Gerald Quansah right back? 03717 223344 is the number to call. It's 17 minutes past 5.
You mentioned him there, right, and about Nico Riley. Now, obviously, the manager made a change because he saw something in Ghana and he thought Spence would have been the better option. But you would have watched Nico week in, week out. Does it faze him, whoever he's playing against, however quick they are, strong they are? Is he just the perfect left back in terms of playing against anyone?
I tell you what is the difference between Nico and Jed Spence. Nico get you a goal. He will get you a ghosting and get you a goal.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of Jed Spence. I'm not Tottenham fan. I haven't seen enough of him, so I don't know. But I would, being biased, he'd be the first name on the City team sheet, never alone the England team sheet. So, and when he came on, he had one of the two best chances. So, I wouldn't be quick to drop Nico. He's whatever he might lack as a fullback, he'll give you going forward the other way.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And he's fearless. He's fearless on the ball. He can dribble like a midfielder. He's a top player.
Let's sort of move it on to City while staying with England. You are edging closer to a deal for Elliot Anderson. And I said before the window opened, if United could buy one player that would be gettable, it would be Elliot Anderson. I'm not too sure about the price tag. I don't know what that's going to be. I know Forest have already rejected a deal worth about £121 million. Your views on him? Are you excited by the prospect of him being a City player?
Yeah, I mean, I've never taken much notice of him, to be honest. You know what I mean? He's one of those players that you don't really, he scored against us.
Hello, I'm Matt Fordham from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
21 minutes past 5 o'clock. Is this from your bag as well?
No.
I thought it would be, though.
No. Maybe my kids, maybe, but not me, Jeff. No, this is not me. This is not Daft Punk. No way.
No, okay. It's Daft Punk or nothing, is it?
Yes.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor. It's brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app. Coming shortly, we'll be discussing whether Man City have the same pull without Pep Guardiola. But just quickly, the executive director of the White House's World Cup Task Force has said that the USA should bid to host the World Cup again in 2038. Newcastle rejected a bid reportedly worth around £55 million for Newcastle midfielder Bruno Guimaraes. We'll get more on that with Alex Crook shortly. And England in test action against New Zealand at Trent Bridge right now and thoroughly enjoying themselves. At least Ben Duckett is, that is for sure. Sam Ellard.
180 for one. Ben Duckett has his 7th Test match 100, coming off just 88 balls, the joint second quickest by an England opener. He was dropped on a third slip by Henry Nicholls. There was a regulation catch and Ben Duckett has cashed in. His last Test 100 was against India at Leeds last year, 21 Test innings ago. So he's been short of runs, but he's gone back to his game, attack from the off, and also importantly had control in that attack, driving anything full, pulling anything short. He's been super aggressive, putting the pressure back on the bowlers. The partnership for the second wicket is now worth 173 runs, and runs as well for Jacob Bethel with 3. He had been short on runs, but he's unbeaten on 60, hitting 8 boundaries. Emilio Gay, the only wicket to fall for a duck. So England 181 for 1 after bowling New Zealand out earlier on this afternoon for 438 runs. So England trailing New Zealand by 257 runs.
Sam, thanks very much indeed. Brilliant from Duck at 109 off 97 balls so far. Right now, time to hear some of your shared takes with Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
We'll be taking your calls 03717 223344. Would you like to see England play with 2 10s tomorrow? Or is that too big a risk? You know, Panama higher in the world rankings than Ghana. Do we have to be a bit cautious?
I wouldn't be, no, not against Panama. You know what? I'm not saying anything. Like, my predictions, Jeff.
Yeah, actually, it's probably best, Gabby.
Yeah, you know what? No, do not play number 10s. Let's be cautious just about winning the game.
Okay. Let's see what Martin thinks. Martin is a Liverpool fan. Afternoon, Martin.
Afternoon, Martin.
Afternoon, guys. How you all doing? All right?
You okay, mate?
Yeah, really good, mate. Look, Martin, do you think we should play 2 10s tomorrow? Do you think we will play 2 10s?
No, Tuchel won't take that. I don't think he'll take that risk, but we all want it, don't we? We need that creativity. Jeff, I don't know, cast your mind back. You asked a question, it must have been a couple of months, about 2 months ago, in relation to Trent, if you can remember.
Yeah, go on.
And should we take him to the World Cup?
Yeah.
I spoke to you. Here's the issue. You know what I mean? How perfect would that be?
Yeah.
Honestly, how perfect it would be. If we could get him playing, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know, lo and behold, we ain't got him. So I think it's a tough one. I think we do need Bellingham up there. You know what I mean? I think Rice sitting back would be, you know, we still need that protection of the back line, don't we? So we'll have to wait and see what he does. But what's your take on it? What do you think?
Well, look, I think he'll do exactly what he's been doing. I see him taking a sort of cautious route, if you like. I think Anderson and Rice, if Rice is fit, will play. Otherwise, I'd see Kobbie Mainoo coming in. I don't see him starting 2 10s to be.
Maybe change it at half time if it's not working. You need more attacking players on, maybe.
Absolutely. Rice is suffering. I think he's got a back injury, isn't he? And you have to be careful with it.
Yeah, I mean, there have been reports that well, actually, there have been conflicting reports, haven't there? You know, some reports saying he's injured, some reports saying that he's not injured. Whatever, I think there is a possibility that in a game like this, if there's any sort of twinge or niggle, you know, hopefully it's going to be a long tournament. So give him a breather now and put Kobbie Mainoo in his place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I say, we've just got to be careful with it. Take your time, you know what I mean? But on the other side of things, I want to see that side against Croatia. That's what I want to see. I want to see that throughout the attacking tournament. We go out like that. All of us ain't going to have a problem with that.
No.
Yeah. None of us are going to have a problem with that. You know what I mean? But as long as we give everything that we've got, that's what we need to do.
Brilliant, Martin. Great to hear from you again.
Cheers. Thank you, and you. Cheers, guys. See you in a
Cheers,
bit.
Martin. Thanks.
You know as well, Jeff, when I say like 2 10s, let's not forget, Bellingham isn't just a 10. It's not like I'm saying Eze and Rodgers, who are proper number 10s. Bellingham is a centre midfielder as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Bellingham can play centre midfield and get up and down. He's done it throughout his career. He's not played his whole career as a 10.
No.
So could you play Bellingham and Rice as your 2 8s and Rodgers in front, but Bellingham, you got license to get forward more? Does that work more? I don't know. I just feel like when Panama are going to sit back so much, why not get Rodgers on the pitch from the start? You know,
the more we talk about it, the more I'm glad I'm not Thomas Tuchel, because everyone's got different
He's
opinions.
listening as well, apparently.
Yeah. Craig's just asked a question. Gabby, as a striker, what mental effect will it have on Watkins or Tony if they don't get a start against Panama, considering England have qualified from the group?
I don't think it will have any mental effect because we've not topped the group yet, have we? Because we've got 4 points. So if you told Watkins before the World Cup that you're going to play some part in the World Cup, but you're not going to start, or Tony, they'll be fine with it. I think that they know Harry Kane's the main dog, and if Harry Kane needs to start tomorrow and get us a couple of goals, then come off, no problem with it at all.
And by the way, I tell you now, Harry Kane's starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's just no question about it.
Agreed.
Lisa says, I'd go 4-3-1-2 tomorrow. O'Reilly and Spencer's fullbacks. I'd play Anderson as the holding midfielder with Bellingham and Mainu either side. Then play Rodgers in the 10 with Kane and Watkins up top.
Does that
2
work?
up top.
How many players is that?
4-3-1.
Oh, that's a complicated formation, that, isn't it?
But the interesting point there, Kane,
No wingers.
Kane and Watkins.
And no wingers when Spence isn't great at his crossing, you know.
I don't know. Your Stu says the same thing. Play Watkins alongside Kane. Kane more or less plays as a 10 anyway.
True.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that Watkins starting, 100%. Yeah. I feel like we were crying out for that second half. But I'm sure Thomas Tuchel's got a plan. I don't see Gordon starting. Yeah. That's one player I don't see starting.
And if you have got a shared take of your own, you can voice note us or simply give us a call, 03717 223344. That's all thanks to Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
I no sooner have I said how much Ben Duckett was enjoying himself. Well, he's not enjoying himself anymore. Sam Ellard.
187 for 2. Duckett goes for 113. It's been a long time since he scored a Test match 100, going back to last summer. Important runs, but he's walking off to a great reception, and he looks absolutely fuming because he knows on a really good deck in good batting conditions, a double 100, maybe even more, was on the cards. Nathan Smith gets the wicket. He pulls his line a little bit wider, almost asking Ben Duckett to throw his hands at the ball. Ben Duckett looking to cut through the offside. He gets an inside edge and the ball crashes into the stump. So Duckett goes for 113. Jacob Bethel unbeaten on 62. And when you're 187 for 2, Joe Root's not a bad bat to have at 4. 187 for 2, England trailing by 251 runs.
Yeah, a blow for England, but they still had a terrific day. Still to come, we'll be discussing Elliot Anderson's record-breaking move to Man City. But first, it's time for no Googling. 3 goalkeepers share the record for conceding the least goals on their way to winning a World Cup. They conceded 2 goals each. We want to know, can you name all 3? I don't think this is too tough because not many sides have won the World Cup. So not many goalkeepers have had the opportunity of doing that. Which 3 goalkeepers share the record for conceding the least goals on their way to winning a World Cup? Any idea at all, Gabby?
I've got an idea of one, but I won't say it because I don't want to ruin it for everyone.
Go on, they'll still need another 2.
Lloris?
Hugo Lloris. I'll let you know if you're right when we come back in a couple of minutes. 5:30.
just think our options, like we bring O'Reilly on, he gets the header in the box late on. You start putting bodies in the box against these low defensive block teams. Like it was calling out for Tony to come on for me, get more bodies in the box, because we had players come on, put more crosses in the box. Saka come on and made an impact, I thought. But I just think Saka and Rashford has to start.
He's got to take the skipper off if he does.
So that was John Terry sitting exactly where Sam is this morning. This clamour for Rashford, you've got a view in that, haven't you?
Well, I just don't remember the last time Rashford started the game for England was particularly impactful. It's always the way, whatever you haven't got is what you cry out for when you don't get the outcomes that you want. The main thrust of England's game was they didn't fizz the ball around. If you move the ball quickly, you move people around. And it was interesting that they put Saka on, which I think makes a lot of difference when he comes on, because he's a clever player, he creates outcomes. And the numbers that he throws out on the field are quite staggering when he's actually on the field. And then he shifted Madueke dug outside so that the coach could be in his ear driving him forward. I think the other thing, I think Rashford comes on as an impact player. If you're playing the last 20 minutes of a game and Rashford comes on with a wild hair up his backside because he hasn't been in the side, he's been replaced by Anthony Gordon at Barcelona and England and wants to play, which is the Rashford that we've got now. Tragically, for a boy of his talent, he's a consequence player. Every time he does something that he doesn't, that gets him consequence, he responds to it. He doesn't play well for a season. The England team need him to be available for the next World Cup. He has a good season. He goes away, gets himself into trouble by not turning up for a training session, gets consequence. Next 3 games, he plays very well. So I don't think Rashford starting is the answer. I think the midfield, popping the ball around against teams that sit in and defend. And interestingly, I watched the Panamanians. These are not a bad side. They are quite a dynamic side. I thought the first 25 minutes, 30 minutes of games against Croatia was quite exciting. And I think Panama will come into this game thinking, well, we're out. So we've got nothing to lose. What's the point of a low block? What's the point of just sitting in? We can have a go at England, and it might suit England. You might find England come out of this game with quite a handy win.
Briefly, the two of you and Rashford. Stuart.
Couple of things. I think out of the 4 players that John mentioned, 4 wide players, I think out of all of them, Rashford's the best impact player. I also think
he'll... Saka?
Yes.
OK.
If I'm looking behind me and I'm saying which one of these 4 has got more chance of getting me a goal in the last 20 minutes, I will put my money on Rashford to get.
When you think about some of the stadiums that have hosted games in the World Cup, sometimes it's hard not to be completely overawed. But what's the biggest? One thing we have to be clear about is that older stadiums will have had higher capacities when it was standing only. A good example of this is the old Wembley. For the final in '66, the capacity was 125,000. But that was later reduced to 100 when it was converted into an all-seater in 1990. Another example is this, Mexico City's Estadio Azteca. Back in '86, it's estimated around 115,000 people watched Argentina beat West Germany to win their 2nd World Cup. Essential modernisation so it could be used in the 2026 tournament reduced it to 83,000. You can't talk about old stadiums with high capacities without mentioning Brazil's Maracanã. Some say the jewel in football's crown. In the 2014 World Cup, its capacity stood at just under 79,000. But back in 1950, well, it wasn't official, but estimates believe 210,000 people came to this place for a winner-takes-all match between Brazil and Uruguay. That's still the world record attendance for a live football match, and let's be honest, it's not likely to be beaten anytime soon.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. Still to come, we'll have some fun with the best of talkSPORT. A few moments ago, though, I brought you the second no Googling of the afternoon. It was 3 goalkeepers share the record for conceding the least goals on their way to winning a World Cup. They conceded 2 each. We want to know which 3 goalkeepers they were. Gabby, you went for Hugo Lloris, and I know where you were coming from, because obviously French goalkeeper was one of those 3.
Fabien Barthez?
Fabien Barthez.
As you told me.
Yeah. But you'd have got there. You definitely have got there.
I'm not sure the others. Is it maybe Dida? One of them?
No, but people have suggested Dida, but great Italian, legendary Italian goalkeeper, Gianluigi Buffon.
Spanish goalkeeper as well,
and a
maybe?
Spanish goalkeeper as well
Casillas?
in 2010. Iker Casillas. You got him, Gabby. Well done. Brilliant. Fabien Barthez, Gianluigi Buffon.
I'm on fire.
Iker Casillas share the record. Just 2 goals conceded each on their way to winning a
Incredible,
World
that, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes, great teams as well.
Yes. Oh, well, they were great teams.
Yes.
And by the way, great goalkeepers as
Agreed, yes.
Right now, let's get the latest on some of the transfer rumours and World Cup stories doing the rounds. And to help us do that, we're joined live from New York by our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, live from Little Italy in New York. Afternoon.
Be careful around there, Crookie.
Oh, look, it's pizza paradise. Look, I was going to say it's pizza paradise, isn't it? And look at that.
What a job. What a job.
Sorry, boys. I was just grabbing a slice of the action. You've got my focus now. I've got to say, this is amazing. This slice of pepperoni pizza is as good as anything I've eaten on this trip. So, Italy may not be at the World Cup, but they're still represented, as you say, here in Little Italy.
Yeah, I can see the Italian flags in the background alongside the Stars and Stripes as well.
Yeah, shame they're not in the World Cup, isn't it, Crookie? Is that coming out of your £50 a day, Crookie?
Tell you what, Gabs, £50 a day in New York doesn't go very far, I would tell you. But no, this was producer Ryan who kindly donated this for me, all in the name of art.
Love it. Well, look, while you're enjoying that, Crookie, let's talk England for a moment. Reece James struggling for fitness. Look, if it's a hamstring problem, he's not going to play, is he? And word is that Jarrell Quansah is on standby at the start, which, I have to be honest, shocked both myself and Gabby. What's your view?
Yeah, well, listen, this was a concern of mine when the squad was announced. It felt like we were a little bit defender heavy, because obviously Reece James has a history of injury letting him down. Tino Livramento, over the last couple of years, his body has failed him at times and he had to pull out before the tournament. They called up Trevor Chalobah, which didn't seem a like-for-like replacement. You've got John Stones as well, who's not played much football for Manchester City in the last year or so. So it was always going to be a concern. And I just ponder, what must Trent Alexander-Arnold be thinking? You know, when Livramento pulled out, still didn't get the call up. My understanding is that's because Thomas Tuchel felt like by having Trent in the squad but not in the starting lineup might create a bit of a media sideshow, and therefore he decided to go with the Chalobah route instead. And now, as you say, the whispers I'm hearing are that with no recognised right back available, rather than move Jed Spence over to that side, Jarrell Quansah is in pole position to start if Reece James is not fit, and that does seem a little bit disjointed, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not having that, Crookie. Like, nothing surprises me in football. But I want to ask you something that's annoyed me today, and annoyed probably a lot of Newcastle fans. The audacity of Arsenal Football Club offering 55 million for Guimaraes.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think there's a lot of play here. Clearly, Arsenal want to strengthen in that midfield area. I understand they've made an inquiry not just about Bruno Guimaraes, but they've asked a question about Sandro Tonali as well, although I think it'll probably be too expensive. But I think there's a bit of agent work at play here as well. It still wouldn't shock me if Bruno Guimaraes not only stays at Newcastle, the messages we're getting is that he's not for sale, but that he ends up signing a new contract. But I understand where you're coming from. You're not going to get a player of that ability, are you, for so little money, particularly when Elliot Anderson has just gone for a British record fee.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking of record fees and Elliot Anderson, then I was surprised, I don't know what your view on this one is, Crookie, that he can be allowed to have a medical for this move on the day before an England game. I mean, aren't medicals long drawn-out things these days?
Well, I don't know the exact timescale. I think Thomas Tuchel has said publicly during this tournament he's got no problem with players completing moves while over here on international duty, what he didn't really want was that disrupting the preparation, as you say, the day before a game, and certainly not on a match day. So I would expect this probably to run into next week. I guess it works one of two ways, doesn't it? I mean, Elliot Anderson, having just become the most expensive British player ever, you'd think his towel should be up for this game against Panama. He's going to go out there with his chest puffed out and really want to make an impression. I do think the market's crazy,
yes.
Jeff. You know, when I was growing up,
long time ago,
strikers were a precious commodity. I remember Alan Shearer going from Blackburn to Newcastle for a British record fee. I think it was £15 million. Now it seems central midfield is the position that everybody
inflation
covers.
Crookie,
Enzo
like
Fernandez,
your pizza.
actually going to Real Madrid. But I mean, if Elliot Anderson is really worth upwards of 120 million, and we're getting different fees. I think Man City are briefing is 116. Forest are saying actually it's more than 125, which is what Alexander Isak went for last summer. How much now is Sandro Tonali going to command? How much is Adam Wharton
and how much
Crystal Palace going to go for?
Crookie, a player that you know well from Bournemouth, how much is Alex Scott worth?
Well, I think he's a terrific player, and actually I did a story in my notebook a few weeks ago saying that Bournemouth will look at the market and they value Scott in the same sort of bracket as Elliot Anderson. So anybody trying to get Alex Scott out of Bournemouth this summer, and Arsenal are one of the interested parties, they're going to have to pay top dollar as well. The market is crazy. I mean, it does beg the question, Jeff, how much would Gabby Agbonlahor be worth in 2026? I reckon at least 2 million.
65 with add-ons.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly at least as much as your pizza, I would say, Crookie.
Look, this pizza's better than Gabby.
When this is all done and dusted with Elliot Anderson, do you think it's inevitable that Rodri will leave City?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we were debating this this morning when I was on with Stuart Pearce and Simon Jordan. You look at his injury record over the last couple of years, he isn't the force that he was. When Real Madrid come calling, it's very hard for any club to stop their player wanting to go. Obviously, particularly the Latino players. We've seen that with numerous players in the past. So I think this could make good business sense all round, and it would obviously help go towards this astronomical fee that City are paying for Elliot Anderson. I'm told, by the way, he's going to earn somewhere in the region of 300 grand a week.
Wow.
Anderson.
Absolutely amazing. For a boy who, you know what? When he was at Newcastle, I mean, he wasn't a regular starter. Of course, he was a young lad. No more than that, but I think something like 13 Premier League starts and 30-odd substitute appearances. So it has been a meteoric rise, hasn't it?
Incredible.
Crookie, we don't want to keep you too long. Enjoy that pizza. I guess there's ice cream to follow as they're being in Little Italy. You know what the Italian ice cream's like. Fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great idea. I could do with a little bit of mint and vanilla. There you go. I'll double up.
Enjoy, Crookie.
Crookie, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, boys. Mamma mia.
Like a big kid in here.
Yeah, he is.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Special guy.
He is. It's like, what was the series? You know, Alone in New York and things like that. That's Crookie.
Step Brothers, maybe?
No. Step Brothers.
He's Will Ferrell of Step Brothers.
Yeah. I got a text of all goalkeepers, you know, conceding 2 goals in the World Cup. It says, how about Gordon Banks in 1966?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Gordon Banks conceded 2 in the final.
Okay.
And
how many overall?
3. Because he conceded 1 against Portugal.
Got to do better, Gordon. Got to do better.
So 3 Gordon Banks conceded in the World Cup. Just those 3 goalkeepers have only conceded 2 apiece. It is, 5:45. When we come back, we'll be having a bit of a giggle with the best of talkSPORT.
Ronaldo is top, still top. But Haaland, for instance, is a better finisher.
Let me ask you this. In world football, I said this, Bentley, on yesterday's show, and I got a little bit of criticism. In his pomp, right? I'll ask you both. I'll start with Bentley.
I heard it.
I said R9 is a better finisher than Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, do you know,
He's a better striker, number 9.
Do you know what you said, right? And you said he was a better goal scorer.
Okay.
Right? Now, for me, R9 is a better centre forward. Like, so I don't think it's even close, right? But what people will do is look at the numbers. And this is where sometimes stats-wise, like the new generation will go, if I say R9's better than Ronaldo, Cristiano, they're going to go, are you crazy? He's got 1,000 goals. But sometimes it's not about just stats. It's about what does your eyes tell you. And anyone who's watched it, you would have watched him. R9 is the best centre forward I've ever seen.
R9 for me, that's my hero. You know, he is. That's why I wanted to become a striker. You look at him, and Ronaldo has done absolutely magnificent. Yeah, and Ronaldo, it's all about numbers and goal scoring. And he's obsessed with that. And that makes him so good. But R9 is just phenomenal. He's just incredible.
Better.
As a footballer.
So
you
much
both
more
agree with natural.
Me on that.
Yeah, but you said, because the way you said goal scorer.
Yeah.
Now, you can't compare the numbers because Ronaldo...
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Good afternoon. You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Still to come, we'll be discussing how much Elliot Anderson is really worth. Other headlines: Liverpool's latest bid of £100 million for the Ivory Coast winger Yan Diomande has reportedly been rejected by RB Leipzig. Tottenham have had a second bid rejected for Newcastle midfielder Sandra Tonali. And England are in action against New Zealand at Trent Bridge. Sam Ellard is watching for talkSPORT. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, Jeff, it's an interesting game because England feel like they're on top, but still 243 runs behind. They're 195 for 2. They lost Emilio Gay early for a duck, but then the second wicket partnership was a brilliant one. Ben Duckett making 100. He lost his wicket about 15 minutes or so ago for 113, trying to cut a ball from Nathan Smith. He dragged on, and he was the second wicket to fall. That brought Joe Root to the crease. He's unbeaten on 4, yet to really get going, but in 9 tests at Trent Bridge before this match, he scored 956 runs at an average of 68 with 500s. So Joe Root likes batting here at Trent Bridge. We've seen very little movement from any of the New Zealand bowlers. It really is another good day for batting. We've also received confirmation from the New Zealand camp that Seema Blair-Tickner has been ruled out of the remainder of this test with concussion, having been struck on the head during the first innings. So he's being replaced by Zach Folkes, the 24-year-old right-arm pacer. So that is a like-for-like concussion replacement. Jacob Bethel's got 66, Joe Root's got 4. We've got about 40 minutes to play left on day 2. England 195 for 2, trailing New Zealand by 243 runs.
Thanks very much indeed, Sam. It's great if you bought tickets to the 3rd and 4th day of the test match. You know there is actually going to be some play.
Good.
Now it is time on talkSPORT for this. This is the best of talkSPORT and Friends, where we run you through some of the recent highlights from across talkSPORT and our sister stations. So let's kick things off with live football. We mentioned earlier that Paris Hilton was on the pitch before the USA-Turkey game kicked off, and your commentator Ian Danter was not impressed.
Players are walking out at the Los Angeles Stadium not long after Paris Hilton made an absolute meal of placing a football down on a plinth. I mean, it's the simplest job in the world, Luke Chambers, but she made it look like it was a work of art.
Well, they've certainly managed to put on a show in the US, haven't they? And
I can't deny that.
certainly is, and all the stars are out.
I'm going to ask a question, Gabby. Now, I might be embarrassed by this. Who the heck's Paris Hilton? What's she famous for? What's she ever done?
The only thing I know that she's famous for is that she was friends with Kim Kardashian, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. But was she a singer, an actor? I don't know.
I assume an influencer
Hilton Hotels?
from the Hilton family.
Yeah, Hilton Hotels.
But, you know, I hope she's not listening now, but as far as I'm concerned, she's just an absolutely zilch
exactly.
to be an attraction.
Hilton's prices are very high anyway.
Yeah, well, by the standards of your usual hotels, that is for sure. Well, she's a zilch to be part of the World Cup.
Get off the pitch,
you know.
sake.
And I feel for Dance and the boys because I said earlier on, you know, the games, in that particular game, the USA-Turkey game, there were an absolute lorry load of celebs there, and the cameras keep panning to them.
Every
where all we want to see is the game. Yeah. And, you know, Dance and the other boys doing the commentary, not surprisingly, haven't a clue who half of them are, and I haven't got a clue who any of them are, to be honest.
Like I said earlier, Jeff, who cares? No one cares.
No.
I'd rather it be like ex-players coming out onto the pitch. That's something that I agree. Ronaldinho coming out for the Brazil game, America's, Landon Donovan or someone coming out, no problem. But not these
footballing legends, I get that completely.
Celebrities.
Yeah. Plenty more live football to come tonight. Probably a splattering of celebs as well, I would imagine. 8 o'clock, Norway against Iraq. Norway against Iraq? No, it's not. Norway against France is on talkSPORT. Senegal against Iraq is over on talkSPORT 2.
Oh, it's on to me, Jeff. Sorry.
It's not to you, mate.
On to the breakfast show. Here's what the morning listeners are being treated to whilst Jeff and I are working on Drive.
70% of my white t-shirts are folded in the cupboard, right in my wardrobe, and the other 40%, 30%, sorry, no, 30%, the other 30% are...
the other 52%.
No, 30% are hung up.
Oh,
but if you're like you're doing now...
See, this is an outwearing white t-shirt.
There you go.
Not an undergarment. So different t-shirts for different...
You then go to the hung up ones and you get one of them out.
Hung up ones?
It's a go. So now you're thinking, oh, you know what, Benny's on something here.
Jeff, what do you make of the drop in quality on the breakfast show? For God's sake. You guys.
Yeah, they're just trying to stir it up, aren't they? Just trying to stir it up.
All right, I'll move on. What's one outfit that every man should own?
Pair of shorts, several pairs of shorts.
Several pairs of shorts.
You know, I mean, I think that, you know, I don't know what you... I wear shorts.
All the time, I do.
Or December, January, February, it can be snowing outside.
I'm not bothered about cold legs. Not at all.
Shorts are the go-to piece of clothing.
Is ironing your clothes, is it worth it, Jeff?
You better ask my wife. No, I mean, look, forgive me, but I honestly, I have ironed my clothes in the past, many, many years ago, when I was living on my own, so that was my only choice. But I don't really do it. Come on, Gabby, do you iron your clothes?
Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes I think, like, is it worth it? They get scrunched up anyways.
Well, what do you do with them?
Just put them on, don't you? It's all right with a bit of, you know what I mean, even that iron now and then.
Scrunched up clothing.
Scrunched up t-shirts, who cares?
Scrunched up, it's not acceptable on Drive. It might be okay in the morning, but not
at
acceptable
Drive. You have to have iron clothes. Weekend breakfast returns at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and Max Scott will be alongside Tony Cascarino.
Let's finish with White and Jordan coming to you from New York. Jim made the point that Simon is the... Jim should have got the Specsavers, seriously. He says that Simon is the spitting image of the Ecuador manager, Sebastian Becasisi.
This guy is a dead ringer. Maybe not so much for you today, but in the past, when you were the owner of Palace and those locks of yours were that bit longer, there is a likeness of that, there is no doubt. There is a likeness. I don't know if we've got a picture of Simon in bygone days. That would clinch it. But anyway, he's a good-looking boy. That's all you need to know.
No, I've seen the comparisons on social media. You know, I was back in the days when it was something for the ladies.
Jim, all we need to say is time's not been kind.
No, absolutely.
It's not been kind on a
absolutely.
You know,
Dorian Gray in reverse.
Did he just say that? Back in the day, it was for the ladies.
Yeah, I think
Simon, oh.
I'm really sorry. I'm not having that.
Grandad Simon over here. That made me sick.
Yeah, Sebastian Becasisi with those long, flowing locks there, you know, and Simon with his short back and sides.
Exactly.
Don't think so. Do you have a celebrity doppelganger?
People used to call me Gilberto Silva back in the day. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
I've got a little note here saying, can we hear your world-famous Simon Jordan impression? Do you have one?
It's dreadful. No, listen, I try to take the mick out of him sometimes because he does it to me, but I'll leave him. I think he's under enough pressure, Simon.
Yeah, Jim and Simon bring you a special bonus show from the Big Apple tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock till 4. And of course, you can find all of our shows on the talkSPORT app, where you can swipe between talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, and all our other sister stations, so you never miss a moment. And that was Best of talkSPORT. Best of England and Jacob Bethel at the moment, because it's just moved on to 67. England 204 for 2 on the second day of the third and final test match against New Zealand. It's 5:57. We're back with more in just a couple of minutes on World Cup Game Day Live.
Listen, I love him, and people have asked me would I take him at Arsenal 100%. But you look at the last two seasons, Real Madrid, and then you look at the last two seasons for PSG, the two Champions Leagues. They were chasing the Champions League for so long. He moves out, they win back to back. It just doesn't look well.
Yeah,
Mbappe, does it?
You could say that he's responsible for that, but in the meantime, when you see what Luis Enrique, the Paris Saint-Germain manager, has changed, the way the team has changed, the unity, everybody is playing for each other, they're fighting for each other, on the pitch. And that's why, in every team they've met, they're beating because of that. They have the quality, but they show, real mentality, unity all together, the togetherness, But Kylian Mbappe, I think I won't be the guy who will say that he's the one responsible for the mess at Madrid. I think if you have Mbappe in your team, you are in a good position to win something. It depends as well of other players. The ego of players, in Madrid is so huge and devastating. In the dressing room.
Is he the best player on the planet?
Actually,
yeah.
I won't say that. He's one of them.
Who is?
This season, or you're saying
right now? If you're going to maybe write a list of your top 5 players, who would be number 1 best player in the world right now?
I really love Olise. He's been amazing for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And the way he entered into the national team without any pressure, and the fight that he's doing exactly what he does with Bayern Munich. He plays with freedom and with creativity, and happiness. For me, is very important.
You think he's the best?
In 1994, FIFA looked at the United States and said, yes, this is the perfect place for a World Cup. To the average US sports fan, a 0-0 draw sounded less like a sporting event and more like a coding error. The greatest show on earth coming to town would soon change that. Because it was America, they didn't just host the World Cup, they supersized it. The opening ceremony was like a Super Bowl halftime show and saw Diana Ross miss a penalty from 6 yards out, wide of a goal designed to collapse as the ball hit the net. Despite the miss, the goal collapsed anyway. Classic Hollywood. When the matches started, something weird happened. Americans actually showed up. Sure, half the crowd were probably wondering when the quarterbacks were coming on, but the energy was infectious. The cultural mashup was glorious. International fans arrived expecting traditional football fare and found stadiums pumping out star-spangled scoff snacks. For the US, nothing said the beautiful game quite like a processed platter. And the heat. Games were played in blistering midday sun to please European TV audiences. Players were practically melting on the pitch, while fans in the stands were getting sunburns shaped like replica jerseys. Can you imagine the tan lines if England were there? Nightmare. On the pitch, we got pure theatre. Bebeto's baby rocking celebration, Maradona's last international hurrah, and ultimately a final that ended in the most American way possible, a dramatic shootout, with Baggio launching his penalty straight into the California stratosphere. To this day, 1994 remains the most attended World Cup in history. The total for the 52 games, 3.5 million. That's an average of 68,000 per game. America didn't just survive the invasion of a foreign sport, it birthed Major League Soccer because of it. Beckham, Messi, they don't go if it wasn't for USA 94. Turns out all it took to hook the States on the world's game was a little bit of 90s magic and a whole lot of nacho cheese.
Good afternoon, 4 minutes past 6 o'clock, Friday, June the 26th. You're listening to the World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Shortly, we'll discuss whether Man City still have the same pull without Pep. But now England looking back to get back on winning ways tomorrow. And, of course, the game against Panama is live right here on talkSPORT.
That is that. It's a point for Ghana. They're celebrating like they've won as well. They might. They've held England in the World Cup.
What a load of rubbish that was. I mean, you get your hopes up every single time with England. That simply was not good enough.
Dross. Absolute dross, mate. It was horrendous.
To be honest, England got away with it because Pickford should have been sent off.
England can and has to play better.
Let's not get too downhearted. It's not a bad result. We're not going out. We're still going to get through.
I'm not too concerned with it. I thought Ghana played well. They've done what they had to do. I think we'll comfortably beat Panama.
Left-footed effort is deflected in. It's Harry Kane. He didn't know too much about it, but there is his Panama hat-trick.
For us now, we move on and hopefully finish the group with a win on Saturday.
Yeah, England face Panama in their final group game tomorrow evening, live right here on talkSPORT. Looking to get back to winning ways following that goalless draw against Ghana. As you heard, plenty of confidence that they will do just that. We'll be getting all the latest from the camp with Faye Carruthers a little later in the show. Now, England midfielder Elliot Anderson will be undergoing a medical in New York today ahead of that game as he finalises his move to Man City. He's set to become the most expensive English player ever at £116 million. Some reports say that could eventually rise to £130 million. World Cup winning midfielder Manu Petit joined the breakfast show this morning. He was asked which team he would move to right now out of Man City or Man United.
But there is something different now.
Would you still now...
Pep Guardiola is not there anymore.
So what would you do then if you had both of them there?
I think... well, obviously, as you said, Manchester City has won so many trophies, so they have the experience, they have the spine, the spirit, to win things. It's quite different, with Manchester United. But as I said, Pep Guardiola is not there anymore. And I think Pep Guardiola was the special, momentum, to change at a different level, the players,
Yeah.
So many players that come, into Manchester City had changed, have become different players, but it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what will be the future, for City.
Where would you go? Both on the tables, Bentley said. Boom, City or United?
I will go to United.
Interesting. To what degree does the man who's in charge, whether he be manager or coach, influence a player? Isn't it principally down to the deal that's on the table?
Yes, of course, but have players signed for Manchester City? Did, for instance, Semenyo and Gay sign for Man City knowing that Pep was leaving? Or did they think he was staying? Would they have signed if they knew he was leaving? I think there'll definitely be a difference next season in Manchester City. Maresca's got different styles as well, can get a bit more angrier than Pep Guardiola with players as well. If I had to choose, I'd still go to Manchester City because of recent history before Manchester United. But maybe players like Rodri want to go. Maybe Bernardo Silva was told by Pep behind closed doors, I'm leaving. Okay, I'm not going to sign a new deal now. Will Haaland want to spend the rest of his career at Manchester City? I don't think so. I think if Haaland the next couple of seasons can get a move to Real Madrid, he will try and go to Real Madrid as well.
So should Elliot Anderson be concerned by all these things?
I think he should be. He definitely should be concerned, but maybe he has had big conversations with the football club and they've said, listen, Maresca, he should be winning the Premier League next season. We're going to spend more than just the 116 million we're going to spend on Anderson. And look at Gay, look at Semenyo. They might have known that Pep was going to go as well. I think Manchester City will be fine, but big shoes to fill for Maresca. Really big shoes to fill. We've seen it happen with greats before, haven't we? Manchester United.
Yeah.
Liverpool on a slot won the league, but then struggled last season.
See, well, one question I would certainly be asking if I was Elliot Anderson or, his representatives is what the heck is happening with the 115 charges?
Yeah.
Because if there's going to be a significant punishment, then would you really want to move to a club that was going to suffer that significant punishment?
I think agents would 100% ask the question. Like, you can say the same about, like I just said, Semenyo and Gay, who signed in January. They must be getting told, these agents, that, like, there's going to be no relegations. We don't know if there's going to be, do they lose league titles? Do they get fined money? But maybe Manchester City have said 100% there's going to be no relegations if we do find out the charges in the coming years.
Yeah. So here's a choice for you. So Elliot Anderson, £116 million. Let's say that's what it is. It appears
Yes.
that's what it is. At the moment, you can have Elliot Anderson at £116 million, or you can get Bruno Fernandes for, well, something like half of that. Where would you go?
Oh, I think it depends, Jeff, what you need in your squad, because both different players. Anderson's not a goal scorer. He's not going to get you the assists. Total different player to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, look at the record he got last season for assists. Look at his technique from free kicks, from crosses, from shooting outside the box, through balls. So total different players. I think you've got to look at the future. What's Elliot Anderson, 23?
Yeah.
How many years? He's got a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Left in him at the top.
Bruno's 28. He's got a few years left for sure.
Exactly. He's 28, Bruno.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, I would choose Elliot Anderson. I do really like him, and I feel like having 5 years on Bruno as well. We say the same about Alex Scott. We say the same about Morgan Rogers. All similar ages, around 23, 22, 24. I think it's a lot of money, Jeff, but this is what the market does. Manchester City have made a statement. We want this player. We like this player. We're going to pay what Nottingham Forest are asking for him.
Yeah. And he has got big boots to fill. And we mentioned this before. This will surely hasten Rodri's departure from City.
Maybe they're expecting it. Maybe they expect Rodri to go. Maybe this is a sign-in to say, you know what? We've had the best of Rodri. We've had the Ballon d'Or Rodri. He had a dreadful injury. He struggled last season with injuries. Doesn't look like the same player. We'll see in this World Cup. So far, I've not seen nothing from Rodri that says it's the Rodri of old. He's getting closer to 30 now. I think he's 29, Rodri. Is it the right time to sell? Sometimes with players, there's a right time to sell, isn't there? Is it the right time now for Rodri?
I mean, apart from the 115 charges, you wonder what the future holds for Manchester City. They're going to go in the next season without Pep Guardiola in charge, without Bernardo Silva, without John Stones, possibly without Rodri as well, with all of the issues surrounding Phil Foden's lack of form. As well as if you're a City fan, it's a slightly concerning time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely concerning, 100%, but it could go two ways, couldn't it? It could go the way of, like, Maresca comes in, gets the best out of Foden, breath of fresh air for him maybe, and the signings that they'll bring in as well. Maybe you see a different side. I think we're getting text there, aren't we, to Fernandes?
Yeah, we're talking about Bruno Guimaraes, not Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, sorry, I think you said Fernandes. That's
no.
You said
well, if I
Guimaraes.
did,
Sorry.
No, I'm talking about Bruno Guimaraes.
Guimaraes, yes.
He's the man who is up for sale at the moment.
Okay, yes. Okay, that's different then, definitely. For that sort of price, Jeff, if we go back to that question, Guimaraes for half the price.
Yeah.
Then that's a different story.
Yeah.
Because I like him a lot. He's in form as well for Brazil. At Newcastle, he's a leader. He can press, he can score, he can assist.
Yeah.
That's a different question.
I mean, if I said Bruno Fernandes,
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
But we were talking about beforehand about the fact that Bruno Guimaraes, Arsenal have been interested in him and offered what I thought was a joke offer, to be honest, 55 million.
Yeah, and Jeff, it depends as well. Some people look out there and say 116 million for Elliot Anderson. Look at his stats here, for instance. 168 games in his career, 13 goals, 20 assists, 4 goals, 5 assists last season in 50 games. So do you look at those stats and say 116 million? Do you know what I mean, Jeff?
Yeah.
Is that sort of money you should be paying for a number 10, a winger, a striker, who's going to get you those goals, who's going to get you those assists?
It was always that sort of player who brought the big bucks. I mean, you can also look, 297 duels won last season, 104 tackles won last season as well. You want to compare that with Declan Rice, by the way, who cost 105 million last season. 297 duels won by Elliot Anderson. Declan Rice, 145.
It's become such an important position, hasn't it?
Yeah. 104 tackles won by Elliot Anderson. Declan Rice, 70. So, you know, that's an interesting discussion.
100%.
Well, isn't it?
I think the problem
Elliot
as well,
Anderson
Jeff.
there, Declan Rice there. Who is the better footballer?
I think as well, Jeff, with Manchester City, they spent very good money on Nico Gonzalez, and he hasn't looked like the player that they thought they signed as well. He was backup for Rodri. So you've got a Rodri who's not the same after his injury, nearly 30. You've got Nico Gonzalez who's not a good replacement for Rodri, so you're not going to be one that's look at him as the future Manchester City midfield. Kovacic is getting older, had his injury problems as well. He's not the same player that he used to be. Bernardo Silva have left. Man City probably says, listen, our biggest rivals have got Declan Rice in that position, one of the best in the Premier League. Let's go and make a statement. Let's go and get his partner for his country.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson. Are we paying 20, 30 million over? Yes, we are. Did Liverpool pay 30, 40 million over for Wirtz? Yes, they did. But when you want a player, that's what happens, isn't it? If you want my player, come and give us what we want. Don't blame Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, and Anderson, you know, fantastic footballer, no question. Declan Rice as well. You have to feel a bit for Newcastle, don't you, in a sense? They sold Elliot Anderson for £35 million. Look, they were forced into making a sale.
So annoying.
Because of, you know, the rules over, you know, spending and so on and so forth. They signed a Forest goalkeeper, by the way, as part of that deal for £20 million. Now, he's not played a single league game for them. And there's no sell-on clause for Anderson, so they don't make any more money out of this deal. Should we feel sympathy for them? I mean, they were forced into that position.
Do you know why I do feel sorry for them? Because it's the same situation that we have with Aston Villa. You know, Aston Villa didn't want to sell Jacob Ramsey. Homegrown player, one of our own, you don't want to sell it. Newcastle had to sell Minter to Brighton. Yes, they have the greatest season last season, but he's a top player. But the problem is, Jeff, and it's happened with Douglas Luiz at Aston Villa, what happens is you get to a certain point in June, I think it might be the end of June, where you have to sell that player by that point. So what does that say to a club that's buying? Okay, we know you have to sell by the end of June, start of July, otherwise you're in big trouble. You might lose points, you might be fined ridiculous money. Newcastle were probably in that position, not 100% sure. Crookie can back that up. They maybe had to sell him on the cheap, no release clause. Nottingham Forest were in a better position then to buy him. And these stupid financial rules are in play. And it won't be the last time it happens to a club like Villa and Newcastle, where one of your better younger players, would it be Lewis Miley next? Would it be someone like that? That's to go on the cheap.
Yeah. Oh, well, and that's, we talk about the Man City fans should be concerned for next season. But Newcastle, you talked about Anderson, but then they sold Isak, had to sell him because he wanted to leave. And now we're talking about potentially losing Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali as well. And this is a club with loads of money, but unable to spend it.
I heard Benson this morning say that if Tonali and Guimaraes leave, does Eddie Howe sort of like look at it and say, it's my time up here? And I wouldn't blame him, and I agree, Bentley, on that, because it comes to a stage, Jeff, where the pressure's on next season for Newcastle and Eddie Howe. No European football, bit better, 1 game a week, but the pressure's on to get European football again for Newcastle. But if you're sending your best players, Tonali and Guimaraes, you've got no chance next season, Newcastle. Already sold Gordon, and they're being linked with players. Was it Munoz they were linked with?
Yeah.
And then Liverpool have come in, and he's more likely to go there. So they're trying to get all these players like last summer, Ekatike. Nope, rather go Liverpool. Okay, I want to go for that player. No, rather go somewhere else. Newcastle are going to have this problem again this summer where they might have to sell. They've sold Gordon. They might have to sell Tonali or Guimaraes, and then they can't replace it with the quality that they want because bigger clubs, you say, more attractive clubs for these players, maybe paying bigger wages as well, will come in and say, no, come to us instead. So I do feel for Newcastle. It could be another tough season.
Look, got to do everything they can to hang on to Bruno Guimaraes. That is for sure. There's one Newcastle fan who will welcome him leaving the club. Here's an interesting text, actually. It's a few games into the new season. I beg your pardon. No, you said you cannot compare stats on Rice against Anderson. And whoever, it's anonymous text, absolutely right. Arsenal spent most of their time in possession of the ball. Forest didn't. Therefore, Anderson would have to make more tackles and interceptions than Declan Rice. Is a very good point indeed. As well, they're both terrific players. And somebody's text here said, absolute rubbish. Newcastle can't spend any money. They spent a fortune last summer. Yeah, but they did sell Alexander Isak for £125 million last summer, which enabled them to be able to bring in some players.
And Jeff, when I read out Anderson's stats, like people might say, oh yeah, he's not scored many goals, but if he's allowed to go further forward, he can score goals, Jeff. He can get forward and get into areas. He's got a great strike on him. He can do it all.
Yeah,
he's not just limited to being a defensive midfielder. He can play further forward as an 8 if needs be. Very good player.
Yeah. Matt in Nottingham says, a few games into next season, all the pundits will be saying they didn't realise how good Anderson was.
We do.
And that they can now see why they paid £160 million for him. Matt, nobody's saying that. I've not heard one pundit, whether on this station or anywhere else, be critical of Elliot Anderson. He is universally, I think, admired.
Yes.
And I'm sure he's going to be a terrific player for Manchester City. Look, we're taking your calls. Do Man City still have the same pull without Pep? 03717 22 3344. That's next.
What have you made of Stevie Clarke? He's come under the spotlight for how he's handled the journalists. He's come under the spotlight how he's set up Scotland, certainly in the second game as well. And some people have even questioned why he's had his term there extended before this World Cup. What do you make of that?
Well, Stevie Clarke, I played against him, and I know him, and he's not a Jose, you know. He's a very quiet guy, to be honest. And you have to look at what he's achieved as Scotland manager. It's brilliant, absolutely up there with the best. So. You know, people have got to realise in the press, I know the press getting on this, you know, this storm of the fans and the Tartan Army and we party and all that, but the press have got to realise, you know, where our players play, who they play for in the big league and the World League. And we've done well to get there. We could have qualified, and I don't think we will. I think Steve Clarke's been frank and he's been honest. And I think he's right. There's too many permutations against us. Which is going to, again, we're going to be crying losers, you know, oh, if only. I had it in 82. You know, we should have beaten Russia in the final game. We drew 2-2 because we conceded 2 goals against New Zealand first game, 15th of June. So we knew it was going to be tough. And that was a side with Souness, Hansen, Dalglish, Strachan, etc. You know, it was a John Robertson. Great side. It's not easy when you get the big league. you know, the final stages, and I'm afraid we're just going to be once again we're just going to fall short. But it's a shame because.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
A very good afternoon to you. It's 23 minutes past 6 o'clock, Friday, June the 26th. You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. Still to come, we look ahead to a huge night of World Cup action across the talkSPORT network. But here's the story for you. Brentford are reportedly in talks with the Ukrainian side, Shakhtar Donetsk, over hosting their Champions League games at the G-Tech Community Stadium next season. Wow, well, that would be...
It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame.
Oh, it was dead. Ukrainian sides is absolutely...
Like, to have to play the game so far away.
Desperate for them, absolutely desperate.
Their fans to travel in.
Yeah.
Every game is an away game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the players as
well.
Exactly. Ezri Konsa and Jarrell Quansah. Ezri Konsa and Jarrell Quansah are the options to replace the injured Reece James, apparently at right back for England tomorrow against Panama. Again, of course, it's live on talkSPORT. Now we are taking your calls. Do Man City still have the same pull without Pep? Well, they're signing Elliot Anderson, so it would appear they do. 03717 223344 is the number to ring if you want to have your say. And Peter, who's a Nottingham Forest fan, has done just that. Afternoon to you, Peter.
Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, lads. Good programme as always. I've been a Forest fan for 60 years. At the age of 10, I went to the City Ground. That seat is stuck.
Wow.
But what I can't understand about Mr. Tuchel is to do with Elliot Anderson. When I've watched Elliot really turn into a superb player, but he then leaves. It's not sour grapes. It's common sense to my opinion. The guy's on millions and it's to run the England team. He's building a team around Elliot Anderson, which people commonly agree, and yet he left Morgan Gibbs-White out of the England squad when they've got a telepathic understanding of each other. And Elliot and Morgan Gibbs-White is a live wire. I mean, he'd have injected some action into the England team, there's no question. And I just cannot understand why he left Morgan Gibbs-White sitting at home watching telly when he's got such a rapport with Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, well, look, it's an interesting point. I mean, many people have got views about whether Morgan Gibbs-White should have been included in the England squad, and I think most people were surprised he didn't get a look in. He didn't get a look in at any sort. You know, almost regardless of his relationship with Anderson. You know, he has so much quality. But how do you feel as a Forest fan, purely from a club point of view, about losing Anderson, or is the price right?
It's a disaster losing Elliot. He's a really good player and he's a really nice guy as well. And you know, to be honest with you, it's sad. But you see, teams like Forest can't keep players like Elliot Anderson. I'm amazed Morgan's still going to be with us. I'm amazed Murillo's going to be with us. I'll be honest, it's the top six, and it's so difficult to break into that top six because we cannot keep our players.
Totally agree.
Peter, thanks very much indeed for the call.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Lovely programme.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Chris, who's a Liverpool fan. Afternoon, Chris, or evening as it is now.
Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, really good,
well,
mate. Yeah. What do you think? Manchester City, will they have the same clout without Pep?
I think that now the confidence of having Pep Guardiola as their manager will now become an arrogant legacy, as they are now at the cliff edge to financial and or financial demise. I feel that the looming punishment is very much there, and I think ever since, I'll probably go back to Kevin De Bruyne, the exodus of formidable players. I kind of imagine now Elliott going in, and I don't think this is the end. I think there will be more players leaving. And there's the John Travolta meme where in the film where he basically just walks in and looks around for, like, you know, who's around him. I think that's going to be Elliot Anderson at Manchester City, where he will be this amazing star, an amazing player, but the big players, the likes of Haaland and so on and so forth, will be leaving. I genuinely believe that. And I think there's going to be a big shift when it comes to teams in the Premier League. The gentleman who was just on before, the Nottingham Forest fan, made a very good point there in relation to it's very difficult for teams to break into the top six. That's due to the unfortunate manipulation of the Premier League then changing their rules. It's kind of, there's one rule for one that's established this financial superpower, and then one rule for another. And there was never that grey area to go, okay, you can transition to a likeliness of that, but you can no longer do things in the way that Chelsea did it.
Chris, the problem is like Spurs, for instance. Yes, they won the Europa League, but 17th place, 2 seasons in a row, they're on a spending spree. They're after everyone. They're going to give Tonali £275,000 a week. My club, Villa, we just won the Europa League. We've got Sal Rogers maybe before we can try and buy a little player here and there. That's not fair.
Yeah, but let's be completely honest with you, Gabby. There's a very profound difference between Villa and Tottenham. The actual difference is, success, victory, and history was built with Aston Villa. Mm-hmm. It's trying to be bought with Tottenham. And let's be honest now, sometimes you just can't teach stupid. So let them keep spending the money, Gabby, because at the end of the day, you're a European Cup winning team from back in the day that built that history.
Exactly.
Let them keep buying because they're just arrogant fools.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. Lovely.
Call it a day, Chris.
Well done, mate.
I like this guy.
Well, you would do, Gavin. You would do, couple of quick texts for you. AJ says, let's see what the stats about Elliot Anderson are at the end of next season. Then you'll know how good Anderson is when he's playing 3 times a week and only has to defend for 20 minutes in most matches he's defended. I think that I compared him with Declan Rice. That's AJ. And we did say AJ, you know, both good players, mate. Both good players. And actually, I think if you look at the two of them, the truth is, there's not much between them.
Not at all. Not at all in the way they play.
Yeah.
Yes, Declan Rice, maybe the way he can get box to box, long strides, of course, but both similar level at passing, Jeff. Goal scoring, probably similar as well. I agree. If Declan Rice went for 100 million 2 years ago, was it, with inflation, maybe this is the right fee.
Yeah, just about spot on, you would think. So, yes. So, AJ, we weren't having a dig at all at
the reason why they're both start for England.
Players, yeah. Sean just says, just a quick point. Everyone keeps banging on about fullback positions and Jed Spence. You keep overlooking the fact he's a right back and not a left back. He's just been played there as cover. His natural position is right back. And Sean, you're absolutely spot on, and that's why I'll be staggered if he doesn't start at right back.
Don't complicate it sometimes.
Absolutely, play
right back. No,
yeah, round pegs, round holes. That's the old cliche, isn't it? Still to come, we will be getting the very latest from the England camp. We'll see if we get a clue about who will start right back. But first, it's time for no googling. Now, the last time England played Panama at the World Cup, it finished 6-1 to England in 2018, and Harry Kane scored a hat-trick. But we want to know which 2 other players scored for England that day. So Harry Kane scored a hat-trick last time England played Panama at the World Cup, 6-1 win.
in 2018. Which two other players scored for England that day? And without Googling, Gabby, I'm telling you, you ain't getting this. You ain't getting this.
I believe you.
We'll tell you the answer when we come back in a couple of minutes.
Bentley has been terrified all week about the Ghanaian witch doctor. He slagged off.
No, he did not.
Supposedly putting a curse on Harry Kane and England's number 9, subsequently missing a sitter. Now, thankfully, the witch doctor, of course, lifted the curse.
It's funny.
Right. Now, there was a report in The Sun that you, Emmanuel, were cursed by a witch doctor.
It's Senegal.
Ignored it
2002.
and got injured.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, before the World Cup in 2002, no, after the World Cup actually, because we went out very quickly, during the World Cup in Asia. And when I came back, I was in holidays in south of France, and I had a friend, he was selling watches, on the beach, and he was expecting me. He was waiting for me for days, and then when he saw me, he came to me straight away and he said, "I'm so happy to see you because I have something important to tell you." And I said, "What is it?" And he said, "You have to be very careful because you have how can I say that?
Curse?
A curse, yeah, on you, and you have to follow exactly what I'm going to tell you." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "You have to go in Africa and you have to buy a cow and you have to kill it, and you have to follow."
Bit detailed and extreme, that one.
Yeah, but I said, "Listen, I understand, and I really appreciate that, but this is your traditions, and I'm not into it, so I won't do it." And 6 months later, I had to stop. But is it coincidental link? I won't say that.
Oh, so what happened to you? You got injured?
Yeah. And they cut
got...
my leg in 2 parts, so I had to stop playing football.
Did you get injured kicking a cow?
No.
Hold on. What part you got injured? Was it the calf?
No, that's my knee, the right knee. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You don't believe in any of that?
No. Yes, I believe in it.
Are you amazed that Benny slagged him off?
No, I believe in numbers. I believe in.
To win the World Cup gives you the ultimate bragging right. To win it as a player and a manager, that's like completing football. And only 3 have ever done it. Mario Zagallo with Brazil, Franz Beckenbauer with West Germany, Didier Deschamps with France. Statistically though, who's the best? Let's start with this guy, Mario Zagallo. He won the World Cup as a player in 1958 and 62, winning 10 of his 12 games across 2 tournaments, and the other 2 were draws. As a manager, he won 9 of 13 across 2 tournaments, including all 6 played by his iconic Brazil side in 1970, a win rate of 76%. Franz Beckenbauer had a slightly better managerial record, winning 10 of 14, but his playing record was a tiny bit worse, winning 14 out of 18. That gives him 24 wins in 32 in total, a 75% win rate. And finally, Deschamps, who won the only World Cup he played at in 1998. Until 2026, he'd coached France at 3 World Cups, winning 14 of 19 games. Look at that. A combined 20 wins in 25 games. Crazy. An overall win rate of 80%. So, based on the stats, it goes Deschamps, Zagallo, and then Beckenbauer. But let's be real. There's no losers here.
Good afternoon. It's 6:37, Friday, June the 26th. This is World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. A few moments ago, we brought you the final no Googling of the evening. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick last time England played Panama at the World Cup. 6-1 win in 2018. We wanted to know which two other players scored for England that day.
I've got one guess.
Go on.
Dele Alli?
No, it wasn't.
Lingard?
Jesse Lingard was one of those. Whatever happened to Jesse Lingard, eh?
I know. Where is he now? Is he in Brazil?
I don't know.
I'm sure he's in Brazil.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is. I'm not
'Cause
sure
he was
what
in,
team.
was he in South Korea, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And
they
then,
went. Yeah, he's gone to Brazil. Definitely. Yeah.
And the other two both scored by one player, not known for his goal scoring, John Stones.
Really?
Yeah, he got both of those.
Lovely.
We could do with John Stones getting a couple this time round if he gets the chance, couldn't we? And Harry Kane for a hat trick.
Just need that first goal, don't we? Nice early goal, Jeff.
Yeah.
I think we'll go and score 3 or 4 then.
Okay, I'm going to ask you before we go.
One
got to be better.
1-0.
Got to be better than your other predictions, Gabby.
I'm going 1-0 England. Comfortable.
Look, following us from 7, Natalie Sawyer hosts live coverage of Norway against France. Remember, of course, every single game from the World Cup live across the talkSPORT network. Let's head to Trent Bridge. Stumps on day 2. Good day for England. Sam Ellard.
A great day for England, with New Zealand resuming 361 for 4 to have them bowled out for 438 and close 2-2-3 for 2, trailing by 215 runs. That's as good a day realistically as England were going to have. They picked up the 6 final wickets just after lunch. Ben Stokes, the pick of the bowlers, he picked up 4 for 70 on his return to the team. Remarkable that late yesterday New Zealand were 317 without loss. So to be bowled out for 438 is testament to how well England hung in there. And then 223 for 2 at close is a really healthy position to be. Ben Duckett for a long period of time was one of England's most consistent performers across all formats. He's been short of runs over the last year, back in the runs today. He made 113 of just 99 balls. He was lucky on 8, dropped the 3rd slip by Henry Nicholls, but he cashed in. It was the Duckett of old. He was aggressive, but importantly not reckless in being aggressive. He was controlled and put the pressure back on the bowlers. He was dismissed for 113. His partner didn't hang around for too long. Emilio Gay out for a duck. Jacob Bethel goes to close, unbeaten on 74. Joe Root not out on 21. So this game is poised nicely. It's a good deck to bat on, and England will hope to bat for hopefully pretty much all of tomorrow. Bethel's got 74. Root's got 21. A century for Ben Duckett. England at close 223 for 2, trailing New Zealand by 215 runs.
It's great to see Ben Duckett back. Thanks, Sam. Great to see Ben Duckett back amongst the runs. It has been a while. Now, following us from 7, Natalie Sawyer hosts live coverage of Norway against France. Joe Shannon's your commentator for that one. He has the team news for us now. Evening to you, Joe. Mbappe and Haaland, do they both start?
Evening, Jeff. Mbappe starts. Haaland does not. The Norway all-time top scorer is benched as part of 10 Norway changes, with Fredrik Arsnes the only survivor from the team that beat Senegal on match day 2. Norway, we know, are through, as are France, but first place is still up for grabs, and surely the Norway fans here today who forked out all that money to be in Boston would have wanted to see Haaland out on the field. But he starts on the bench. Selvik is their goalkeeper. Arsnes, Ostigard, Falconer and Bjorkan at the back. Asgard, Berg and Torstvedt in midfield. Bob, Schelderup and Strand Larsen are the front 3. For France, just the 4 alterations. As I say, Mbappe does start tonight. There's a first World Cup start for Maxence Lacroix of Crystal Palace. Chouameni, Theo Hernandez and Doué also come in. The France team in full is Magnon in goal, Koundé, Upamecano, Lacroix and Theo Hernandez. Kone and Chouameni, Dembele, Elise and Doué behind Mbappe up front. It is a much stronger France team, Jeff. They play Norway here in Boston. It'll be live on talkSPORT.
Joe, thanks very much indeed.
Strong side.
It's a strong side, even with 4 changes. And Norway, well, obviously, their manager has decided exactly how he's playing this tournament.
I had a feeling
entire
Mbappe would
side
start.
changed.
You know why he's done that? The Norway manager. He's probably thought, even if I go full strength, more than likely we're going to lose to France. Do we get injuries? It's not going to change our position. We're not going to finish top anyway. So it's probably quite sensible from the Norway manager.
Yeah, Haaland will be championing at the bit, though. He will be championing at the bit. Look, let's look ahead to that game and the rest of this evening's action as we slide into game day with Burger King.
Sliding into game day on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
I mean, let's start with that game then, Norway against France, which is live on talkSPORT. You've just heard from Joe Shannon there. Have you been surprised by Norway?
No, because when you do look at their squad of players, the players that they've got, even Sorloth there, who's starting tonight, Oscar Bob, didn't do real good things at Fulham when he signed last season, but a very good player. We've seen him at Manchester City. Haaland, Odegaard, you know, at the back, we've got some good defenders as well. So I think that they've got options there, Norway. Do I think they will go far? No, I don't. Can they get lucky with the round of 32 and get a team maybe they've got a chance with Haaland? But apart from the round of 32, I don't think they get past the last 16 with the squad that they've got. But with Haaland, you never know.
The supporters are great, by the way.
Oh, you see them.
Absolutely fantastic.
In New York.
Yeah,
amazing,
they've been brilliant.
Yes.
Senegal
Ultra.
against Iraq is the other game in that group. I mean, Senegal have lost both, but a win would be enough to take them through, you'd imagine. Of course, Scotland would want Iraq to get something.
Yeah, I don't think Iraq will. I feel like Diamande, I do really like him. I feel like they were unlucky against Germany. I watched the game. Adingra, first time he's got to hit that shot. It was the last 5-10 minutes of the game, and it's perfect counter-attack. I think it was, I'm talking about Ivory Coast, aren't I, there?
Yes, you are.
Sorry, mate. I'm talking about Ivory Coast versus Germany. Sorry, ignore me.
No, I mean, Senegal have shown, plenty of attacking flair, I think, during the course of the game, but just vulnerable defensively, just like a bit of you just look at the goals for and against. They conceded 6 goals in their 2 games.
They should be beating Iraq.
They should be beating Iraq.
Quality.
Yeah. And that would move them on to 3 points, and they would almost certainly be going through. They probably need to score a couple of goals at least in that game, though.
Their players have got to turn up, though.
Yeah.
Some of them haven't, have they?
Yeah, they do. Group H, these are 1 a.m. matches, by which time you'll probably be back in Birmingham, I'd imagine.
I don't think so.
Hopefully, anyway.
I'm looking at 2 a.m. Yeah.
Uruguay against Spain is live on talkSPORT. Cape Verde against Saudi Arabia live on talkSPORT 2. Let's start with Cape Verde. I mean,
incredible.
I read a quote about them today from somebody who said, the critics gave us a 1% chance, but we had 99% faith. And they've been one of the star teams at this tournament, haven't they? Captured everyone's imagination.
Listen, a lot of people like myself thought that they'd lose to Spain by quite a lot of goals. But if you actually look afterwards, I should have looked before, but I was on the spot when I predicted it. They actually had a great qualifying. They really did. And they've got a strong base, Jeff, where they're all together. They're all fighting for each other. They defend together. The goalkeeper's been fantastic. There's no reason why they can't tonight go and beat Saudi Arabia. Will they go past the round of 32? I doubt it. But if they show fight and defend for their lives like they have in this tournament, there's no reason why they can't get a result against the poor Saudi Arabia team.
Yeah, well, it would be a humongous achievement for them to go
incredible,
through
wouldn't it?
Last 32. 1 point would mean that if they finish third with 1 point, they would be above Scotland.
0 goal difference.
Have a 0 goal difference. But of course, Uruguay are second in that group at the moment on 2 points. So if they lose against Spain, they would drop down to third place in the table potentially.
What did Cape Verde do against Spain? They sat back.
Yeah.
Frustrated them.
Yeah.
No one had to go at Cape Verde. You should have played better football. You should have got it down from the back. No, what did they do? Defended. They were lucky at times, but they got a result.
I think that's one of the issues amongst the players, is that they want to play more in that manner on the break, if you like, defend,
why not?
Trouble them on the break. But Bielsa wants to play Bielsa ball. We've
seen how that worked out at Leeds, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I mean, there were some entertaining games, Jeff. Wow. Man for man. I remember the game they played against Manchester United at Ellen Road, and it was 1v1. I think it was Ayling versus Rashford. And if Rashford got past him, it was through on goal. 1v1 for the keeper. That football is not football that you see many teams play anymore. Ange tried it, didn't he, at Spurs? The high line as well didn't work out. Unai Emery changed his high line at Aston Villa because that wasn't working out. But I think Uruguay, at the end of the day, if that's how the manager wants you to play, who are you as players to go and try and tell the managers play a different way?
Yeah. Of course, he left Luis Suarez out of the squad. Suarez said he was available. And you see Suarez at every game peering down at Bielsa, don't you? I mean, I think it's a given, isn't it, that if they go out at this stage, that Bielsa will lose.
I think they lose tonight, Jeff. I really do. I feel like Spain, like England, will maybe with some changes. They've got the luxury, Spain, to maybe make a few changes.
Well, they're not guaranteed to go through. Not as winners of the group.
Yeah,
anyway.
but last game, was it Lamine Yamal to come off at half-time? They've got such good players.
Yeah.
I mean, their bench and players that haven't played a minute in the tournament is incredible.
Yeah.
Look at like Zubamendi and Raya that aren't getting minutes. You got Ferran Torres that's coming on off the bench as well. Daniel Olmo, incredible player. Nico, there's so many that they've got, Jeff. They should have more than enough for Uruguay.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the situation? Uruguay beats Spain, Cape Verde beats Saudi Arabia, Spain finished third in the group, and some poor group winner would get Spain in the last 32.
How's your luck? How's your luck?
I don't see it. Like you, I don't see it happening.
I'm sure Brazil are sitting there now thinking, how have we got Japan? I'm sure the Netherlands are sitting there thinking, how have we got Morocco? This doesn't make sense. No. Why did we top the group? Incredible. But I think Spain. I think they score 2 or 3 past Uruguay.
Yeah, me too. I think Spain will be convincing winners. And, and I don't see Cape Verde losing against Saudi. No. So I think that will be enough to see them through. Yes.
Fantastic scenes.
The other group, by the way, New Zealand against Belgium and Egypt against Iran.
You know what I like as well is that Cape Verde can celebrate straight away. They've got to wait a couple of days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's imagine the scenes tonight. Look at Ecuador last night.
Yeah.
Sweden was celebrating and knew they were through, even though Alanga didn't know. Don't know how he didn't know. Sorry, we've got a break. Sorry, mate. I'm waffling on.
Yeah. But you were right. They could celebrate, and believe you me, the Cape Verde players and their fans will celebrate hugely if they go through during the course of the evening against Saudi Arabia. And that was a look at some of the day's key talking points, all thanks to Burger King.
Sliding into game day on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
Manchester City have agreed a £116 million deal to sign Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. The fee, as you might have guessed, is the most ever paid for a British player and represents a new record for Manchester City. He's 23, Anderson, and has now been given permission to undertake a medical right here in New York today, with the deal subject to the finalising of personal terms. You would think that will get done quick style. Alex, Elliot Anderson, this is a remarkable rise, isn't it?
Certainly is, when you think that he went from Newcastle to Forest for a relatively modest sum. I know Eddie Howe at the time didn't particularly want to cash in, but obviously they had issues with PSR.
Yep.
It's interesting, the figures. City side are saying 116 million, Forest side are saying actually it's nearer to 130 million. Either way, it's a record, as you say, for a British player, potentially a Premier League record fee, eclipsing what Liverpool paid for Alexander Isak this time last year. I was speaking to a couple of ex-players at the darts last night, and we were pondering, if Elliot Anderson is really a £130 million player, how much would someone like Paul Scholes be worth in the current market? I think he's a terrific player, Elliot Anderson. I'm not sure he's a £130 million player.
Well, sure. He joined Forest, as Alex says, from Newcastle in a £35 million deal in 2023. So, not so long after that, we've now arrived at 116 million.
Well, brilliant business for Forest. If I'm going to my chairman and I'm going to buy him, let's say,
Hello, I'm Matt Fordham from talkSPORT. This is how to win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
More of this?
I like this.
Yeah.
Bit of me this. All over it.
7 minutes away, 6 minutes away from 6 o'clock, Friday, June the 26th. You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Following us from 7, Natalie Sawyer hosts live coverage of Norway against France. Over on talkSPORT 2 at the same time, you can hear Senegal against Iraq. Flo Pollock's your commentator of that one. She's got the team news for us now. Big night for both of these sides, but I think in particular for Senegal, Flo.
Evening, yes it is. In fact, they're in the new format with 8 of the third place sides going through. Neither of these sides are technically out yet, but as you say, Senegal with a better goal difference have much higher chance of going through. So the team news then, Senegal played the same 11 versus Norway and France. Today though, Pap Chow makes 5 changes. One of them, goalkeeper Edouard Mendy, who came off injured versus Norway, hasn't recovered, so Maury Diaw replaces him in goal. Big change here is captain Koulibaly was poor for all 3 goals they conceded against Norway. He's dropped, Sek replaces him. Jacobs comes in at fullback and Sunderland's Diarra starts his first World Cup game. And up top, Nicholas Jackson, yet to score at this World Cup, is replaced by PSG teenager Ibrahim Mbaye. As for Iraq, they make 4 changes. Their main striker Hussein is out injured. Ali Al-Hamadi, who was playing for Luton Town last season, replaces him up top. France Putros plays his first World Cup minutes. And in comes Rebin Sulaka and in defence, and Ali Jasmine in midfield.
Flo, thanks very much indeed. Live on talkSPORT 2, Senegal against Iraq. Just a quick message from me on X from Jonesy, who said, as an old Forest fan, Elliot Anderson is actually better than Roy Keane was for us, Jonesy. Ooh. Would you dare tell Roy Keane that to his face? I don't think so. He's also got man of the match in his first 6 starts for England. He just keeps improving. Gutted to see him go, but he thoroughly deserves to be playing at the top. And I think that's probably the feeling of most Nottingham Forest.
100%, yeah. And look what he went through at the end of the season as well. Horrible circumstances. The passing of his mother as well. To go through that and still carry on playing football like he is. Amazing.
Yeah, been brilliant. So England tomorrow night against Panama is that time of the day where we got to get you to put your neck on the block. Well, I know. I mean, I heard you and Andy Goldstein predicting the Ghana game, and that had me worried when you went for 4-0 and Andy went for 3-0. That had me concerned.
I'm going to go 3-0. Panama, come on, Jeff. What's going on here?
It's a curse. You're putting a curse on us.
I did not, but the Ghana, they would stock that to put the curse on us against Ghana, didn't you?
Panama are ranked higher than Ghana are in the world ranks. They've lost both their games, but by a goal in it.
Okay, 1-0 England. What do you think?
I think 1-0 England.
Last minute set piece.
No, I don't see that, but I think, you know, that Thomas Tuchel will set us up, you know, with the intention of whatever we do, making sure we don't lose the game. Hopefully
finish top of the group.
I don't see a flood of goals. We don't need a flood of goals. 1-0 will do very nicely indeed.
Just get through.
Good luck with getting your train, mate.
I'm not hopeful, to be honest, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my headspace in a place of delays. So I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you because the last train to Winchester was delayed by a minute. Good luck, Gabby. From Gabby and me, have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.
When you look at Scotland over the 3 games, David, what is your overall assessment and takeaway? I mean, most of us looked at it and felt that Morocco and Brazil would be a reach to get anything from, and that the outcome of the Haitian game would be important and that goals needed to be scored. Criticism is being made of Steve Clarke. I'm not asking you to jump on the bandwagon, but the manner in which Scotland have played, the lack of bravery, the fact that they've been very negative in lots of people's minds, and Steve is a defensive coach. When you hear all those things, what's your